Max, I've seen you too much this week. Too much.
Too much?
Aren't you tired of hearing my voice yet?
No, but I mean, how can you have too much of me?
See what I mean? Living up to his name of the arrogant one. You know what, Max? We have questions. We have a race recap to talk about. So I think it's time we just drop that intro.
Nitro is the glory. Welcome to the No Name RC podcast with your host tonight, Keenan White, aka Lefty the Great, and if you are unlucky, the Finnish village idiot, JQ. This is the RC podcast with no name, but plenty of content. So sit back, relax, and get ready for some serious bench racing.
Yes, indeed. Nitro's the glory, but E-Buggy pays the bills. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode number 153 of the No Name RC podcast. I'm your host, Keenan White, aka Lefty the Great. To my left over there is Maximus Mortimus, or we call him now the arrogant one. What's going on, Max? We have somebody joining us here, but he wants to wait till we do all our introduction and all that. So, he's special. So, we got to wait and give him a special introduction and all that type of stuff. He's blessing us with his presence. So,
wow,
Max,
but
he thinks that. We had a great weekend. We've been busy. We did 3 lives this week. And wow, we were like in tune with RC this week. And but we're here again Monday because you know what? We had a great race. We got to talk about it. We have some questions. So before I do that, I just want to say thank you to everybody who tuned in with us this weekend. It was fun. We had a blast. Thank you. I know the races were going on. It was your weekend, but we had about 50, 60 people per live. So thank you for that. And people are downloading and listening to it afterwards. So that's even better. Thank you to everybody that joined us on the live this week. It was really good. I greatly appreciate that. And thank you to everybody, around the world that supports this podcast. We got some great messages this weekend, today, which I'm very happy about. We got messages from people in Sweden and America. They're very happy with what we done this weekend. So to me, that means a lot. And thank you, Max, because you was really the one who put that all together and had everything on schedule and all that good stuff, except for Friday. He was a little bit miffed about Friday and not being on schedule, but hey, we still pulled it off. So thank you to those guys. Thank you to all the NNRC squad around the world. We love you guys, man. Thank you for all the love you show us. Thank you to the patrons of the podcast. They help keep this electricity on and help us get new equipment and all that type of stuff and travel to races. So thank you for that. If you wish to be a patron, there's a link in the written description of this podcast. They get early releases and stuff like that. We will be getting back to regular interviews next week, rounding up the end of this year. And getting back to, focusing on NNRC 2.0. And of course, we have to thank the awesome sponsors of the podcast. I have to say this, if you're a company that wishes that believes in what we're doing and think this is a great platform to promote your business, shoot me an email. But thank you to the current sponsors that we have, and they are Mayako, which I'm sure we're going to talk about today, Beach RC, High Tech RCD, TNR Fuels, Techno RC, Lugs Racing Tires, Sun City RC Raceway, Racecraft USA, Papa Willie's Traction Tonic, Donavan RC, JQ Scale Motorsports, Invisible Speed, So Dialed App, and of course, House of RC. Oh, and RCGP. I'm sorry, I forgot about that. So thank you to all those sponsors. Remember, guys, links and coupon codes, affiliate links are all in the written description of this podcast. Any love you can show the sponsors shows the podcast some love. So thank you to those sponsors, and thank you to the people that support us by supporting those sponsors. All right, Maxi. So should we bring in our guest or should we talk about how much fun we had in what the watch party on the Discord, or should we just let him, because he didn't want to join us? So he's too
Yeah,
he's
we
too
had.
big
I
to,
mean, we had a lot of fun on there. There were people
Mhm.
people in. We watched the main. Everyone was having a laugh. Good analysis going on. Everything. So definitely being doing that for every big race next year. Probably that was a lot of fun. That was a lot of
Mhm.
fun for sure.
Yes, it was. So if you haven't joined our
Yeah.
Discord, the link
Hmm.
is in this written description. And look,
Okay.
the point of the Discord, everybody, is to make conversation. So don't be nervous about going in there and talking. I'm about to ban JQ from there, so we'll be all right. And well, you know how it goes. But yeah, we want people to talk. It's all about building that community of people who really like RC like we do,
Hmm.
and people from all over the world, so we can share different experiences, help,
No.
knowledge, meet new people. That's what I like about it.
Yeah, for sure. And the thing is, like, there's a lot of people who drive RC, but they don't really have people locally who race with them or anything. So, like, this is a great sort of place for people around the world just chat about it, how they're traveling to a race or whatever, or they just want to talk about RC. Like, you like some old RC videos, then you can post on it somewhere, and people talk about it and watch it. And I've been definitely having some great conversation with people that I've never
Mhm.
probably even talked to before, and it's really great. It's not like Facebook where it's all like public and you have to make a comment. It's just people chatting about, and that's what makes it most fun. We're closing in on 250, I think, pretty
Yeah,
soon.
we're at 228. We got a lot of
Yeah.
members over the weekend, and the goal is 300 to 500 by the end of the year. I don't think 500 is possible, but yeah, the more people that get into
Okay.
that, and I just want it to be, you know what I want it to be like? The old S grid, like people coming in there having fun. Hopefully, we got some pro drivers in there that may want to give some advice once in a while. We have JQ,
Hmm. Yeah.
that's close enough. He was a big part of the old S grid. So yeah, all that stuff. I don't know, man. I think, you know what? I think we're gonna just bring this guy in because he looks like he wants to talk, and I have some bones to pick with him right now. So yeah, here we go. It was nobody special, people. It's just Joseph. Just be
I am special.
We know that. We know that you're special. In your brain, you're special. In your world, you are special.
Other
What's
people
up?
also say I'm special.
Yes, and not in a
Your
good way.
mom.
Yeah, your mom definitely thinks you're special.
No.
But what's up, Josie? How are you? You've been probably busy editing all weekend. You've been super quiet, or maybe you've been quiet for other reasons, which I'm about to ask you about. So
I already
Is
know.
now the time? Is now the time when you look
now is the
straight into
time
the
because he
camera?
didn't join us on Friday when we talked about this. Surprisingly, he did not want to join us this weekend.
I was
You know
busy.
what I mean? I'm sure you was busy. I'm sure you was.
Really?
So yeah. Getting
I've been
contracts
going
ready,
to bed
maybe?
at 6 a.m.
Wow, it
I've
takes
been
that
going to bed
long
at 6 a.m.
to get a Mayako contract up and going?
No, those are already done.
Ooh, 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 ooh. Joseph, I haven't seen you. You've been very aloof since this was made, this announcement. Look me in the eyes, Joseph.
So look into the camera. Okay.
Look into the camera. So, David Ronnefalk and Adrian Bertine left HP. We both
Okay.
have said many times over, you and I, that those are two guys that you would hire if we could,
Yep.
or if you could, sorry. I see it. I see it in your eyes already. I see it in your eyes already. I see it. I see it. I see it in your eyes already.
So you just know that I have a spare 100,000 euros or whatever. It's just no problem.
I don't know how you do it, but you do it. You know what I mean? So,
So is this
All
your
right.
official take now? You literally have tears in your eyes already.
Yeah,
I think
because-
you really believe this.
because I have hope. You know what I mean? I really do. And I have hope that you have created one of the biggest surprises and done one of the biggest things in RC you could ever think of, and pull off something as great as it would be for the Viking and Adrian Bertine to join Mayako.
Okay.
So
Well,
that's
do you
your answer?
expect I'm going to tell you something here?
I just putting pieces together, your aloofness. Not, usually if somebody leaves, you'll be all talking to me about it. And where do you think it's going? Oh, I heard this and I heard that. You have said nothing to me in the last 3 days. So, you know what? I still have hope. Hope and prayer. I'm realistic. I am.
No, but that's fine.
Something is up for sure.
Even more fun now.
You see what I mean, Max?
I can't tell a lie. So we signed Adrian to JQ Racing. So I left JQ Racing and now he's going to take it over and he's going to make it great again. So I left to Mayako and they went to JQ.
Yeah, I don't believe that. I don't believe that part. That now sounds unrealistic. You know what I mean?
Well, isn't that equally unrealistic as if they join Mayako?
No.
Okay.
No.
He's trying to deflect, He's trying to.
I know who. I know JQ. He's trying to deflect. He's been deflecting all week. But anyway, Joseph, even if you did sign him, I know you wouldn't say it hurt anyway. So, but I'm looking at your eyes, dude. That tells me everything I need to know, that I still have hope. That there's still hope.
Okay.
JQ's eyes give Keenan hope.
All right. So, I mean, we did touch on this on Friday, but I just wanted to get your thoughts on this. This is big freaking news, dude. This is like when LeBron left Cleveland and went to Miami. This is like when Drake and TLR parted ways.
Honestly, Ronnefalk was the guy that we wanted to sign for Mayako. So there was a very short list of drivers. So it was, very short. Let's just leave it at that. And but we were sort of trying to sign him for 2023. And it was a legit plan to do so. So now that he switched already now, it didn't really match what we thought was going on. And also, I knew he had a contract that wasn't over yet.
Yeah, he left contract.
Yeah.
I don't believe you, but anyway.
No, it really is true.
No, I know about the contract.
To legitimately sign Ronnefalk. That was the goal. That was my goal.
I know. You said that to me many times. So
yeah.
But I still don't believe
it was for 2023.
Yeah, well, we just got bumped up a year. There we go. So both of you are being so aloof with me right now.
The car doesn't exist. The car doesn't actually exist yet. So to sign a driver, he can't test the car. He's never driven the car. He's just going to sign, switch from a good deal to sign to a brand that doesn't exist yet.
He's never driven the car. Okay. I don't believe that.
He has never driven the car.
I don't believe that. Joseph, until he makes his announcement, I am still hopeful.
But let's exclude Mayako now. What are they, if I'm David Ronnefalk, what are my options now? Realistically, it's X-Ray or Infinity. Almost. Yeah,
except there's one thing, though. If he goes to X-Ray, then Ty is there already, right?
Yeah.
So they would basically have to admit, but they already had issues in the past.
Yeah, Tessman and Ronnefalk aren't going to go well together. So it pretty much is Infinity, or then some brands like TLR,
Horizon, I think,
a cat out of the bag. But for Ronnefalk's
Horizon,
sake, if he would go to TLR, I think that would be a bit of a dumb move at the point.
Yeah, but they have the money.
I think that X-Ray. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Yeah, X-Ray would be good, except Tessman was there. If Ty was leaving, then it would make sense. But since he's there, it doesn't make sense to me. And for Infinity, knowing David as well as I do and Adrian, I don't think they would do that because it's so risky. HB is here, it's not really going to go anywhere, I would assume. Mm-hmm. But Infinity is he can just wake up and be like, fuck this shit. And then it's done, He already did. He just fired Reinhard and Lee Martin. We don't know why, really. Maybe there was some reason, but they had no idea it was coming. So it just, Infinity is the kind of deal where if it's your income. If that's how you earn a living, then it's a risky way to earn your living. Do you see what I mean? Because it can just one day you wake up and then it's all gone. So I just don't see them. I don't see them going to Infinity. Infinity is the place where drivers go when they don't have any other options to get that kind of deal. Do you see what I mean? Like most of the guys really who went there were sort of older, the end of their career, or they are in on-road where they can't really get the big money deals anywhere. So it's like, that's the only choice. But in off-road, there are deals. Like Horizon, they could sign anyone they want, really, if they just decided to. And they don't really have anyone in Europe.
Well, they already signed the biggest earning guy in RC, Cavalieri.
Right.
Yeah, but that's not
Cavalieri
Europe.
in America.
They need
but
they
why,
need Europe.
Why don't they care about Europe?
They had a great presence in Europe before.
Horizon could easily sign Ronnefalk and build Europe around that. But from Ronnefalk's perspective, I don't see that as a smart move, really, because I know he wants to win.
Because of the car.
I think he can win.
So.
I mean,
they have a new car coming though.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, but I heard that he's been running it since Silver State, and I looked at some pictures from Phend and Cav, and I looked at some pictures from AMS and from the Nationals, and to me it looks like it's just new A and B blocks and then new C and D blocks. The rear arm is a bit longer. The hub
I tried to see
the
rear hub, but there were no pictures of it.
Yeah, I think to me the rear hub looks the same, but the arm is definitely longer. The pin width is definitely narrower. Yeah. But it's not as narrow as something like HB. It's close to like AE X-Ray and the new Mugen.
I don't know, man. It's a conundrum, but it was a bomb drop. I mean, usually we get these bombs at the end of silly season, but in true Viking style, he came in slashing and
And it was weird because it was the AMS weekend as well. Like the time to announce. Like why did they announce it then? I don't know.
What about Ogden now? Is he gonna stay up or?
I mean,
that's the thing. Like I saw some distributors post on Facebook that they were hopeful for HB, that they had some call with them or whatever, and they were looking good for HB. So maybe HB is looking to sign some guy as well, to replace Ronnefalk. Obviously, there's no way they're gonna get anyone as big, because he's with Ongaro, he's the biggest guy in Europe. But if they don't sign a huge guy, then this is sort of big boots for Cole to fill. For real. Like he has to succeed now. He can't really do how he's done this year, where he might get a second or a third in and then just like DNFs every other race.
You know what I hope? I hope they do RCGP. That's the most important thing. Yeah, it's going to be RCGP.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like if they don't get a guy, if they have only Cole, there really isn't that big of a reason to do RCGP. And what happens now to all the Swedish guys who run HB, like Hampus Berg, he's a fast guy. He's definitely going to be one of the fastest guys in Europe in a few years if he keeps going. Like, is that going to break down now? What's going to happen?
Who still runs HB in Europe that's fast?
Pretty much only Swedish guys like Hampus Berg. In Europe,
Thomas
Musso, I think,
some
runs
French guys.
HB.
French guy Thomas Musso and them guys still run it. I just heard that it's funny because I said this in the last podcast, but the day before this was announced, a guy messaged me and says, "Hey, Lefty," I'm not gonna say where he lives and all that stuff, but he lives in Europe, and he said, "You don't think it's a little strange that Ronnefalk isn't saying anything about HB lately?" And he goes, "Look, I can't even get a brand new kit. I've been waiting for a kit for months. Can't even get parts and all that stuff." And I was like, "No, man, HB's all right. Like, Ronnefalk ain't going anywhere. Like, I think he's got his contract's up to 2023. Then 24 hours later, boom. I was like, oh man, I messaged him he said, "You was right, dude. You know, like, amazing." So I don't know, man. Joseph, I am going to say something. For you not to say anything or know anything about this is very, very strange. So I'm just going to leave it at
Suspect.
that. It's very suspect. And I know that nervous little giggle that you have. I know it all too well. It usually comes with, I have a plan. And that usually means I have a plan in which, Lefty, you will do
not
more
over
work.
till it's over.
That's true too. That's true too. I was talking to Ronnefalk today, teasing him and all that type of stuff. But I look forward. He's not an idiot, so he's gonna do something that he's gonna do. Like, this is the only racer that out there that doesn't have a tire deal because he wants to be on the best tire out there. You know what I mean? So yes, money is important to him and he needs it, but winning is what's really important to him. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where he goes and all that type of stuff. So anyway, guys, you know what? We're going to go in and talk about AMS. But before we do that, I just want to shout out and say thank you to TNR Fuels, because here at the NNRC, we are all about that glory, and that glory is nitro. TNR Fuels is the hottest nitro fuel on the market, owned and operated by fellow racer Chris Nelson and his family. Made by racers for racers. TNR Fuels currently available throughout the USA. For more information to support the company or purchase some fuel, visit www.tnrfuels or contact Chris Nelson directly on Facebook or House of RC, and he will get back to you. Thank you to TNR Fuels for all that support. They had a pretty good showing with Cavallari this week at AMS. And yeah, I think we should just probably go ahead and...
By the way, does Greg Degani have his birthday today?
Yes. Oh, yes. Happy birthday to Greg Degani. Happy birthday.
Is he finally 40?
Greg's older than me.
Yeah. Is he?
Yeah. Maybe. No, I think Greg and I are the same age, really. Oh, he's like a year older than me. He's probably like 44. I'm 43. So
he can't be 44 because he was running 40 plus for the first time when I was there. So
that's when he was 39, I think.
Okay. Yeah. So then we're the same age. Excuse me. Excuse me, guys. A little bit of a cold here. All right. So let's go on to AMS. All right. So we did we talked about this a lot this week without Joseph because he's too busy, getting contracts ready and all that stuff. Busy.
You'll see next year how busy I was.
See what I mean? See? It's things like that. See? See what I mean?
Over this. This is gonna be
this guy. I just calmed on, and then he says something like that, and then he gets me all excited again.
Focus on AMS, okay?
Yeah, okay.
Let's
focus.
Oh, by the way, wait. I forgot. Wait, let me get OBS fired up here. I'm gonna use your podcast right now. Okay.
This whole Ronnefalk thing got us
all flustered. Anyway, so I'm gonna use your podcast because I have to sell some. I have to pay some bills. This week is the last week that you can sign up to the Invisible Speed online course. If you get the full course, you will also get to speak with David Ronnefalk because he's going to be one of the teachers. It's Ronnefalk, Robert Battier, Carl McBride, and Cole Ogden. Those 4 pros, and then one Joe, me. And we're going to teach you for 1 month straight all the stuff that's in the course. It happens on Discord, so live calls and all that stuff. So it's going to be well worth the money. So if you sign up this week and buy the full course, you're in. So
does Ronnefalk give setup advice to the Mayako car?
All cars.
Try. Good one, Max.
He hasn't driven Mayako car, so he doesn't
Good
really
one,
know.
Max. You almost got him. You almost got him. I saw
he had
the
hesitation.
He did.
But hey,
he did.
This is the intro for a YouTube video. So I'm going to give out a free sample of the course now. Which video should I show? I was thinking I would show the piston video.
You're going to show a video now?
Yeah, pretend this is my YouTube channel, not your podcast. I'm hijacking this for a few minutes.
Oh, okay.
I'm using this as my intro.
I haven't seen the piston video, so
the piston video is good. Trust me. We go science mode, deep science mode in it.
Is this going to be long?
No, so we're done now. So now everyone, you're going to see the piston video from the course. and after that, go on invisiblespeed.net and buy the course so I can pay Lefty his extremely high salary.
Or maybe you're saving that for Ronnefalk.
Yeah, actually, that's a good one. Invisible Speed Science Ronnefalk. He can run any chassis and just provide feedback for the course. You didn't think about that, did you?
He did. Before you joined, he said that.
Think outside of the box, Keenan. Okay,
yeah,
anyway,
well, you know, I when something clicked, when somebody said something, I was like, ooh, that's possible. So
it's possible. Okay, now Pistons. Okay, that's done. Now we can get back to the podcast. What were we talking about? AMS?
I'm kind of confused. I thought you was going to play the Piston video here on the podcast.
No, I literally used your podcast to do my intro, and then I'll edit the video and post it tonight.
Okay.
You see what I mean?
Okay, there we go.
I use this as the intro to the Piston video, which I then...
All right, I got that clear. Yeah. You know what? Let's hear from Techno RC. Tyler Jones had a really good week this week at AMS.
Oh yeah,
this AMS.
Yeah, how did our picks do? I think JQ won. Who did you pick for?
We'll talk about it after this.
Yeah, the AMS recap is brought to you by Techno RC.
Techno RC. Techno RC. Techno RC is a premium manufacturer specializing in 8th and 10th scale high-performance off-road RC buggies and trucks. Visit www.technorc.com for a complete catalog of their products. Techno RC. Excellence in engineering. Hashtag Techno Takeover.
Thank you to Techno RC for their support. I think this Thursday, Tebo is going to join us to talk about AMS and his future plans. He had a hard-fought AMS as well, but the top techno driver coming out of AMS was the dark horse, Tyler Jones. Really great result for him coming out of AMS and going into 2022. But if you guys did not follow us this week, we did some pretty good recaps and reviews of AMS, and we had some fun doing that. But we had this racer, which is probably the last big race of the year before these guys go into their break. And then
hibernation.
Yeah. So they go on their break. A lot of them are actually going on to the Florida Carpet Championships down in
that's cool.
Yeah, down in Florida this weekend with Orlowski and those guys. We'll talk more about that in the questions and stuff like that. But let's look at AMS. We talked about Truggy and all that stuff, but should we just give like people who won Truggy and all that stuff real quick? So in Pro Nitro Truggy, we had Dakota Phend, Ryan Mayfield, and third place Spencer Rivkin. Man, he's had third place more than anybody this year. And great run for Ryan Lutz and a great comeback for the GOAT, Ryan Cavallari.
Yeah. I mean, talking about Rivkin, even in the buggy main, he was looking to finish third, but then he had some issue. It looked like an electrical issue where his car just suddenly went straight or stopped on its own. I don't know what it was, but it looked weird.
And you know what? I got to give a big shout out to him because this is probably one of the most improved drivers of the year, Mason Fuller in 6th. Mm-hmm. Very good. Yeah. Very good in Truggy. All right, let's have a quick look at E-Buggy. Ryan Mayfield would take the win in A1 and A2 with a great battle with Ty Tessman at the end of the race. In E-Buggy, probably one of the best races of the weekend. Gave me hope for Ty going into the Nitro Buggy, but unfortunately that was not to happen. So Ryan Mayfield wins it. Ty Tessman second. Phend third. Rivkin fourth. Jarrett Tebo fifth. And Brandon Rose. Unfortunate for Brandon Rose, he did not bump up into the A main of Nitro Buggy. I think he had a flame out or something. So he wasn't able to make it. And again, another solid performance for the Iceman, Mason Fuller, 7th. Very good, very good. Good to see the Fullers getting some good results.
Yeah.
I have a lot of faith in Mason Fuller. A lot of faith in him. All right, so we hear we're all about Nitro Buggy, and to us that means everything at these races. So once again, TLR, you're welcome. I did not pick Phend, and he won. So it's obvious that I am a jinx for them. and I will never pick him. I am not allowed to pick Phend anymore legally, so I don't.
Did they
But-
send you a cease and desist also?
No, but I just felt if I kept picking him that I would get one. But congratulations to Dakota Phend, because damn, that was a dominating victory. That
that was the first time in, can't remember, but a long time where Fend just looked like he had it from the start to finish. Like since Thursday they hit the track the first time until Sunday, the last lap where he beat Mayfield by a lap in the main. Like
that's amazing.
there wasn't a point where it looked like Fend in Nitro Buggy was gonna lose. So yeah,
Okay,
this
but
for
you
pure
remember what
domination.
I said when we did our
Yeah, I
predictions?
do.
Do you remember?
Yeah,
I said
this
that
was like Fend's track.
Fend could win this.
Yeah,
But of course I didn't pick him because I have to keep the joke running of getting Fended. But so Lefty picked Tessman, Tebo, Mayfield. Max picked Mayfield, Tessman, Fend, and I picked Tessman, Mayfield, Ogden. So I don't know. We all kind of failed.
I think
We all
I
flop.
think I'm the closest, but everyone is wrong. Everyone is so wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So, but we basically all believed in Tessman, and see, that's the thing
Yeah.
about faith, you know.
Yeah, I knew you was gonna go there. I have faith that
But
you
hey,
saw
hey,
Ronnefalk to Mayako.
he took a pick. He took a pick with a kid and gave him his body. That's all that counts.
No, I thought.
But
after the
what was
e-buggy
going
race-
on? Ty was dialed in e-buggy, right? It was good.
Yeah, I don't know. That was weird.
Dude, okay,
So why
so
was he that
I
bad
don't
in
understand.
Nitro?
just to say something, that this track, talking to people that went there and looking at it from the video, this track, I've been to this race. This race is usually in June. And even last year, I don't remember when did I watch it last year? I can't remember. I don't remember it drying out so much. But this track dried out way more than what I was there in the summertime in June. It was,
Yeah.
I think it was extra cold.
Yeah.
They had, and
it was
that stuff
super
just,
dusty.
yeah. And
So-
I've never seen this track like that. But people are complaining, but that was the great equalizer. JC was still the fastest tire, but you had people like, Jared Tebo found something on AKA. Even Ryan Lutz was fast on AKA.
Hey, what does Cavalieri run?
Proline.
Proline.
Proline. Okay.
But let's go
Horizon
through
owns them. That's fine.
have you seen the main, Joseph? Did you watch it?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. You should have watched it
Why
with us
didn't
in the.
yeah, you should have joined the watch party. But
Yeah,
yeah,
he's too
to be
big
honest,
for us.
like the thing about the track was, I think it was okay, but every time track gets polished like that, it gets so difficult in long mains because like dusty and polished, it's like the tire choice is really hard. And I think my sort of guess would be that Ty could run softer tires in e-buggy, like super soft or something, and that's why he was good. And then in the main, he just like they wouldn't last, so he had to pick a harder tire, and it didn't work. That would be my guess.
Yeah, I would say
but-
also that Mayfield was second, but if he had started with Fend, it would have been a good race. I believe so, a battle for the win. But with
Maybe.
him being starting 80, when he got into second, he was 15 seconds behind already.
Yeah, he was.
Obviously,
yeah,
he's
it's
not going to
true.
catch that,
Yeah.
So
I mean,
then,
that small track.
yeah, when you are that far behind, it's hard to almost find the motivation to try and go faster on a track like that. If you can see that you are just matching the pace, it's very hard mentally to finish that final. So the fact that he then got lapped in the end, that's only because he was that far, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I think if they had been racing together, I think they would have matched each other, raced each other. It would have been a great race.
I think
So,
okay. I
what
agree
happened
with
in
that.
that qualifying or Super Pole? That's stupid. I think they called it that because we already have Super Pole, and it doesn't mean that.
Yeah.
Qualifying race would have been better, but what happened to Mayfield there? Why did he start?
He crashed in the middle of the track at some point, and I don't know if he flamed out, but he was there for a long time.
Okay.
I think he might have even flamed out, but he got like super screwed in there.
I think
yeah.
I think this race proves. Can you guys hear me? Sorry.
Yeah.
This race proves kind of like the fact that qualifying really mattered her. Like, you know what I mean? On this small track, you want to start up close and whatnot. And I believe, just talking to people, some people like the 3-lap format, and I think a lot of the pro guys didn't. And that's tough cookies because you're a pro and you gotta do that. But their minds are so trained on doing that 5-minute run. You know, when you do something for so many years, that's what you focus on. Then you throw something. You know, they do seeding. Seeding is important too. But it just, I think that threw everybody for a loop. And that's great because this is what racing is supposed to do. You know, it's not always supposed to be the same. So, but at this track and being the size that it is,
yeah, I don't think the qualifying on its own was the issue. I think the qualifying race they called Super Bowl. I think that caught a lot of people off guard. Like, because I could see a lot of people just like driving crazy, trying to make a pass straight away, then hitting the guy, getting stuck. Like, I could see that a lot, even of these pro guys. And I perfectly remember, I think I went through this yesterday on live, but like, I perfectly remember how I was in RCGP because people weren't used to racing 8-scale cars and short mains. Because in 10-scale, you crash, you're done. You don't have 45 minutes to catch up. So I think that's sort of one issue that caused sort of a lot of the sort of drama in terms of starting spots. But I think what JQ said about if they were close, I think that's possible for sure. But if you look at the Truggy main, they were close the whole way through, but Phend was just controlling. Like, he was in control from the start to the end.
I think that in Truggy it's easier. So
for sure, yeah.
I still think that in Buggy, when Phend would have to race someone in Buggy, it would be harder for him than just having a good leader. Because even now in the race, he just flew off the track a few times. Randomly, kind of, and he was just driving alone. So if he in that situation has to race someone, it will be harder. You know
what I think?
For sure.
You know what I think? Somebody said it in the what? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, just that I think that the reason I said that Phend would be good here was that the layout looked like it had a lot of low speed corners. So the corners were quite tight, and the sections that you had to drive, you had to do quite low speed and then do jumps very precisely. So you need a lot of steering, a lot of rotation, and the speeds you are doing corners is low. And then the time you make up and precision is really over jumps. So I figured, okay, so he'll do good on this track. I still think that if the layout is different, even on this surface, which also helped because the surface is kind of loose, so the car doesn't want to catch stuff. So you have low speed and a surface that isn't very edgy. Of course, it gets bumps, and those can catch your car, but the grip of the surface, the track, is low.
I get what you
That's
mean.
why I thought that he would do well here.
Yeah.
But still, in Buggy, if he has to race someone, I think it would have been harder. And now he was lucky because he got a lead early, and then he just drove his own race.
Well, another thing that I think contributed to his success, and that's what was great about doing the watch party, is that everybody had good points. And my buddy RC Jers brought up a really good point. And he goes, this track looked very 10-scale-isk. You know what I mean? And he's a really good 10-scale driver. I mean, just that I think the 6-pack was like the hardest part of the track. Me personally, I know I would have been up in his stands if I was driving. But he would go through there so fast. And the fortunate thing is, the only part of the track that looked rough was the 180 coming onto the straightaway. And the straightaway, I don't know how the straightaway.
I don't know how that was. The straightaway was the worst part, like the worst, wear part of the track. It was full of bumps. I don't know how that happened.
Well, I think it's congratulations to him. I think TLR worked out. They flew Barry Baker in there. He was there. And you can look at even just Cavallari, because Cavallari was off pace like all weekend. And then he ran out of fuel, I believe, in his Super Bowl race. And I was like, oh man, I think Cav actually started like 12th. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he bumped from the B. He bumped from the B.
So for him, but that's just a testament. Like, people are gonna say, oh, you're just a Cav fan. Well, I am. But that's what Cavallari does. It may not be the best car, it may not be the best conditions, but he finds a way to he may not win, but he finds a way to get close. And I think and you have Mason Fuller was right behind him. So the TLR guys were onto something.
Yeah.
And
I think Mason it's really good because I think it's good because there was that moment when people were speculating that does Horizon not care about racing anymore?
Mhm.
But now it seems that they have
for
a
sure
number
they
of good
do.
drivers
Yeah.
and they are doing well at races. And I think that's a good thing. You know, we need more
Yeah.
rivalries and more good brands and teams up there. Now, if only they join RCGP too. It's never going to
Yeah,
happen.
I told you
Yeah.
that though.
It would be good.
Oh, it would be great.
Yeah.
But I told you that after I came from the Nationals, how big TLR is getting or has gotten. And I think a lot of that has to deal with Tran coming on and giving them that manager, you know, that team manager stuff. But also I think like there's a really good package from Horizon too. You know what I mean? Like when you
Yeah,
get
I think now they have it all together, because previously TLR just seemed like a brand that Horizon kept alive because of the legacy. They don't like, it didn't seem like they really cared about. Obviously they had Fend the whole time, but like there was a part where Fend was almost non-existent. He was, sometimes he had a good top 3, but oftentimes he was just like back of the main or something, waste of space, like the Ghani calls it. But I think now this year signing Cav was definitely a big boost. Maybe not in like sales directly, but sort of the image of the brand. Having more than Fend is a huge image booster for the brand. It's not just Fend running somewhere in the main. It's 2 guys who are professional. They have Barry Baker. They are professional mechanics, and now they have an actual team manager who only focuses like pretty much only focuses on 8 scale realistically. Like obviously they have some 10 scale appearances as well, but mostly like this year has been 8 scale all down the way for every brand, really, even AE.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And you know what? I'm saying this right now. Cavallari is figuring it out. And it's going to be
I
just
think
like
so,
when he figured it out with S-Works. Cavallari's going to win races next year. He's going to win races next year. And that's just because that's what the GOAT does, you know? So it's going to be a good 2022 is looking exciting. All right, let's just go through some of these races real quick and then we'll go into some questions. Should Ryan Mayfield leave her disappointed? You know, he kind of lost his last 3 races in a row. Southern
Not
Nationals, US
disappointed.
Open.
I think this was kind of a neutral result for him.
Yeah,
really.
What did
It's
he
not
get?
like second.
Second in Nitro Buggy, second in truck.
1 e-buggy and then second in truck.
So 1, 2, 2. I mean, that's still a pretty good
Didn't
result.
he win e-buggy?
Oh, it's
right?
damn good.
Yeah.
But, you know, it went from Mayfield winning every race to he's lost the last 3.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Don't know. I think, to me, like, I think even for Americans, they really only care about Nitro Buggy, if I'm being honest. Like, for Europeans, 100% is
For
only
the
about
pro
Nitro Buggy.
guys.
But for American pro guys, it's still, I think they care most about Nitro Buggy than the other 2 classes, really.
I think Mayfield goes into 2022 on a high note because he is the national champion.
So, yeah.
He won
Yeah.
DNC. He won Silver State. 2 of the big, like, let's be realistic. DNC, the biggest race, probably one of the biggest races it's just one of the biggest races, period. He swept that. Then Silver State, he wins that. He probably would have, Tebo won Truggy. He would have won e-buggy there, but that brain fart. And I think after he won the national championship, he was just like, oh man, I've done everything I need to do for the year. Yeah,
I
of course,
think
he was the
that's what
NNRC Cup champion as well. So that was even the cherry on top of that.
Yeah, but the thing is, he had almost a perfect year. And I think after nationals, he sort of took a time off, really. It looks like that. I don't know if he did actually, but I think mentally he did. Because
he did 10 scale, and that he hasn't been since he started doing 10 scale again.
Yeah. I don't know, hard to say, but let's be honest. When DNC comes, he's gonna be up there battling with David, for sure. There's no question. It's gonna be him and David Ronnefalk battling for DNC win.
Well, if the amount of Europeans come to DNC as I think they're going to come, and COVID doesn't prevent that, there's going to be a lot of long lips at DNC, and I think you're going to see a lot of people. Well, I mean, yes, there will be some European guys that will be making the final either, but the Europeans are like ready. I think they're like like caged dogs ready to be released upon the racing scene right now. They've been sitting there watching for 2 years. Everybody, all the racing in America, and probably just saying, I can't wait to get over there, chomping at the bit. I can't wait. All right, Tyler Jones, great result for him.
Yeah.
Great result. solidifies his
say-
position in Techno, I think, with that performance. Second best driver for Techno this year, I would have to say. I would say Jared Tebo was probably their best driver. But
Overall,
Tyler
yeah.
Jones, secure, like, yeah, he's going to be a Techno for next year. But next year, I think he needs to get a win. You know, we need to see him, and he can do it. He can win.
I don't think he needs to get a win, but he's definitely close enough to get one. I think actually this is one of his best results of the year, because this isn't a race where Techno should be good. You know,
He
it's not
keeps-
like a Silver
yeah.
State. It's not like a DNC where Techno cars, like, it's kind of designed for tracks like that. So this is sort of a race where he shouldn't, like, if he finished fifth, I would be like, that's a good race for him. But finishing on the podium, that's a really good showing. And the fact that this wasn't like a special weekend for him, in the sense that this track suited him perfectly or anything like that. It was just like a normal weekend for him, and he finished in third. So I think this is one of the sort of biggest winners of this weekend, apart from Phend, obviously.
I would agree with that. The dark horse can go into 2022 like ready. Now you set back and get ready for next year. Jared Tebo, I think this was a hard fought fourth for him. I think AKA really was kind of off pace. I'll talk to him some more this week. But him and when the track dried out, I believe him and Lutz found something on the AKA tires. And I was talking to Mike Walken. He was telling me how like Lutz was dremeling the sidewalls of his tires or something like that. I don't something like that on his scribbles or something. I'm not sure. He was telling me something. I have to ask him again. But yeah, Jared Tebo, hard fought fourth. Once again, man, you like in these long races and 45-minute races and all that stuff. Jared Tebo just knows how to make up time, because I believe he was way down the pack at one point, and to fight his way back up to get a fourth is good.
I think these days Tebo always seems to get like the short end of the stick when it comes down to race starts. Like every time it's like someone crashes in front of him or someone takes someone out in front of him, and then he like gets caught in it. So like I think like this year there's been many sort of moments where I've looked at him and seen like, oh, this guy just can't catch a break, and sort of the results he's been getting this year, like taking all that into account, has been really good. So for sure, even though the results haven't been good, I think Tebo has shown like sort of a lot of not really pace, but sort of like he can get in there and he can fight for sure. He just needs to sort of get everything to fit together and have sort of that perfect race, and he could definitely shoot for a win next year at some point. We thought it would happen at Silver State, but it didn't. But yeah.
Yeah, Tebow is hungry as ever, man. I talked to him before he went to this race, and I was like, dude, you ain't burnt out? He's like, I am excited. I'm ready for AMS. So it's good. It's good stuff. I like to see that burning. I like Tebow. He gets it, and he's about look at JQ's janky internet. He gets it, and he's about promoting. You know, I like Tebow. I like him a lot. We talked about Cav. Great comeback for the GOAT. I need to get him back on the podcast, and he's actually has the third most downloaded podcast on this thing, and it was crappy audio, by the way. Mason Fuller, another great result for the Iceman. Mason Fuller is the fastest young racer out there in America right now, like 16, 17.
Like I think he's the next sort of one, like he's the next sort of those, like he has a chance to be the next Cavalieri or Mayfield or Phend or Tebo, sort of those who can compete for the worlds. Like he has a chance to be that guy for sure. Like I can't really name any other young up and comer in America where he ever has that quality. Because he's still pretty young, he still has like time to develop, and I think he can make big leaps right now where he can develop into that level.
I thought I finished lower down in the order, but a seventh. I think he in his thing he said that starting at the back of the pack really hurt him, and I would have to agree with him.
But I mean, Ty was a lap down like
Yes, early.
before the first fuel stop, Ty was already a lap down to Phend.
Yeah.
So I don't know what happened, but he was on his own and struggling at the start. In the end, he like didn't make any mistakes, and people flamed out and all that. So he finished in 7th. But yeah, a weird weekend for Tessman. Like he just didn't seem to be there at all at any point, really.
Right. Rivkin, we talked about already. Seth Van Dalen. I don't know what to say about Seth. He I think he needed a really I think sorry, my throat's drying out.
I think
he could be
he's
happy
just
with
waiting
9th,
to-
but he would want better. He would really want better.
Yeah, I think Seth is just waiting to get a new car.
Yeah, I think so
Like
too.
I felt
That's not
that
a Techno.
since.
Well,
Yeah,
it's not
that's
it's not been said if he's out at Techno or not. It's just assuming.
Yeah, but I mean,
You know what I mean?
like the way sort of how he's looked like in all of that sort of the suspensions from Techno, all that stuff. It's just like he needs some fresh air because he's a fast guy. He TQ'd Silver State this year, right? Or something. At least
you. Yeah, he's in a team
Yeah.
full of fast guys. You know what I mean? The competition level, and just imagine like the mind games going on in that team. Like, you know what I mean?
Exactly. I
So
think
he needs to
yeah,
get
I
fresh
think he
air,
needs-
get on his own, and
yeah.
not and then I want to see what he can do when he has that opportunity in front of him.
Mhm.
Joe Bornhorst, actually, Joe was pretty fast in qualifying and whatnot. I think he was 3rd on Friday. So the 3-lap qualifying was good for him. I don't know how his Super Bowl went, but I mean, he's 10th. He needed a good showing this weekend.
Yeah, and he looked defeated after the main as well. And I think like yeah,
I think the writing's
hasn't
on the
looked
wall for Joe.
good.
I think
Yeah,
he's another one
it
that's
looks
probably
like-
on the bubble at Techno.
Yeah.
And he's been there for a long time as well. So look, I'm not that I take any pleasure in anybody losing their job. Don't get me wrong. You know what I mean? But this is part of
Yeah,
part
I
of
would
the
like
game,
to see
you know
Joe
what I mean?
around still. I'm not I'm not like, but it just
The only reason I need Joe to be around so I can make fun of him.
Well, he can beat you, so that's all that matters.
Average Joe.
yeah, but-
Yeah, well, you're below average.
I
Joe,
hope he
because
finds.
he can beat you.
To be honest, I hope that average Joe finds an average team to race for, so he can continue being average.
So
It
what
would
about
be
you?
awesome.
Below average Joe.
I love
mean,
that we have went
hopefully I
through-
can. Hopefully I can race him and beat him, so I can be above average. That's
You
my
will
goal.
not beat Joe. You will not beat Joe Bornhorst now because I don't think you will make this main. So you won't beat Joe Bornhorst. You can dream about beating. There was maybe
Next
at
year.
one point you could have beat Joe
It's all
Bornhorst.
about next year.
That one
It
point.
depends on
you're
where he goes, though.
You can't beat Drake or Bornhorst right now. Just give it up.
We'll see. We'll see next year.
You can next year.
Okay.
Spencer
Can I give my
Hackett-
2 cents now about the race?
Yeah, go ahead. Talk.
Yeah.
Okay. There were 2 guys that impressed me, really. What's his face? Tyler Jones? Guy
Yes.
whose voice doesn't seem like it belongs in his body. That guy.
I haven't heard
I
him
don't know.
speak,
I didn't really.
Doesn't
judge
he have
his
like
voice.
a really deep voice?
Well, he's a man.
I love that
I mean,
he's
that-
quiet
that-
all this time and then you just become straight savage.
No, I'm just
Insults.
saying. I'm
Typical
just saying.
JQ.
But Tyler
Like, I don't
Jones,
know, I
he
haven't
really
heard him
impressed
speak.
me. You know why? I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you with an example of a driver who, what's the opposite of impress?
Not impressed. Unimpressive.
Who unimpressed me? No, I mean, I'm sure there's something. Who disappointed me, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Cole Ogden was fast, and he was also my pick. And he should have done good at this race, but he blew out. So in truck, he was in second, and he could have had a great race. Lutz took him out.
Did you
But
see him jump
instead of-
that jump? The back of
Oh
that
yeah,
jump.
that too. But that's because he blew out. So
Mm-hmm.
yes, he should. Yes, it sucked. He was in second, and then he was in 7th or whatever. But Lutz kept on racing and did okay, right? So could have Ogden, but he blew out.
Well,
and
well,
in
Lutz
buggy,
broke. It looks like.
yeah, but wasn't Lutz was pretty high up already
Let's
at
see.
some
Lutz
point.
was
Like he drove back up. Like Ogden could have still had a good race.
the highest
Ogden
position
could
that
have
Lutz
had
got
a-
to was 7th.
No,
What?
but Ogden could have had a
Six.
top
Sorry,
five.
he got to 6.
Who did?
Lutz.
Ogden, Lutz, yeah.
In
Ogden could have
Truggy.
had top 5
No,
in both classes.
oh
if
no,
he
no,
wanted.
sorry, I'm
No,
looking
check
at.
where Lutz got in Truggy.
Oh yeah,
So
he
anyway.
actually finished good.
Yeah,
so
Lutz was
in
4th in Truggy. Lutz was 4th in Truggy.
Yeah,
So
so that's what I
Ogden had
mean.
a
That
chance for
Ogden
top
was
5.
still ahead of Lutz at that point. Lutz took him out, then
Mhm.
waited. Okay, and then they continued. So if Lutz finishes fourth in that race, that means that Ogden could also have got a good result, but he blew out. And then in Buggy, a similar thing sort of happened. So the thing why this relates to a guy whose voice doesn't belong in his body, Tyler Jones, is that he had that moment in the race. He was up there, and then I think he crashed on his own, though. No one took him out, but he still kind of blew it. And then he was back in the pack battling, and then he got back up there. That's pretty impressive. In a race like that, to be at the front, to drop back, battle with the guys, catch up to the front group and get back in the race for the podium, that's impressive. To mentally keep it together, to have the skill and talent and focus to do that, that is very impressive. So that's what impressed me.
He was in second, and then on lap 7th, he got dropped down to 6th, and he battled his way back up to 3rd, and he stayed in 3rd to the end.
At that point, to get back up there, that demands a lot from a driver, because you have to be faster than the other guys, right? You can't match them. You have to be faster and make less mistakes, and he was able to do that. Then the second guy who impressed me, who I'll be honest, I wrote off already, was Ryan Lutz, because he actually showed that he still has the speed. And in that in the Truggy Super Pole, I think
Super Pole, broken front.
What the hell? Like, it was broken, right? I wasn't imagining things.
5 minutes in,
fucking front shocks were blown off the car.
Yeah, 5 minutes in, he hit someone in the 6-pack who was crashed, and his front end was like broken, bouncing around, and there was he was like 5 minutes to go, and the people behind were just crashing.
He still finished second, right? Or something.
Third, yeah, but third.
What the fuck?
Yeah, so the broken front end, it was crazy. Yeah.
By the way, Tyler Jones, JQ's comments, comparison of your voice is no reflection on the NNRC. I think you're awesome, by the way. So everybody send the flack to Joseph and not me.
What do you mean? I didn't say anything bad about him.
Yeah, but you always gotta say you can't say anything. You and Dagani are so alike. What? You can never say anything nice about anybody. You always gotta put an insult in front.
Now people are gonna look him up in interviews and care about him. That's what this podcast is for.
Yeah, see what I mean? We can't have JQ on. He just ruins every good thing. Like, you know what I mean? All right.
He's right, though. People are more interested now that they'll listen to his voice now, for sure.
I just want people to know that
I swear, okay. Here's that thing. Next podcast, we need answers to this question. Go and listen to a podcast or something, just the voice of Tyler Jones, and imagine what he looks like. Then go watch a YouTube video and tell me that they match or don't match, okay? Let's have a poll on Discord.
You know what? He can drive an RC car faster than you, and he can ride motorbikes better than you.
You know what? That's irrelevant.
Yeah, it is.
That's irrelevant.
You're just below average Joe, man. Below average Joe. You know, that's all it comes down to.
We're gonna have such good races next year.
Oh, are you planning on Ronnefalk helping you get better? Is that what you're doing?
Yeah.
Are you thinking
and
that?
Adrian,
if I pace Ronnefalk,
JQ Racing.
If I pace Ronnefalk in practice,
which one is? Which one is it now? Actually. Invisible Speed or JQ Race? The Invisible
Speed. You know what?
In
between that BS is some truth. So anyway, I just want to punch you in your eye right now. That's what I want to do. All right, I like the race a lot. All right, let's just talk about the. Oh, one thing we was watching. I wanted to. Did you see this, Joseph? In the. It looked like Phend's car was broken or something at some point. We was wondering. Yeah,
on the watch party, it looked like the left I think it was the left rear tire looked like the like camberling was pushed in, but then like let's say 5 minutes before the end, somehow he got back up then, and then it looked normal again, and then when he finished, it looked completely normal. So I don't know if it was just something like that we all missed, but everyone on the watch along saw it. And I saw it, and it seemed like it got worse at some point, but then suddenly it was back straight up again. And it really looked like, because
His rear camber,
when he was,
you mean?
yeah, the left rear, it looked like the tire was like this. Like the other one was like straight up, the other one was like this. And right as it got really bad, he got super squirmy for a couple of laps, then hit the pipe crazy hard, and after that the tire looked like it was straight again.
He fixed himself.
And
Maybe they
yeah,
have those
and then
adjustable camber. So you make the upper
Yeah.
links a bit loose, so you when you smash into something, the tie rod moves in and out.
yeah, I don't
Well,
know.
partly
but
what happened is that the tie rod did go in, and then he had another hit, and it came back home. But at
Yeah,
one point, we
maybe.
thought
like
he was,
that's what it looked like. You see, when he finished, it looked fine, but on the track you could see that the other tire was like fucking this, and like he was sliding around, and it looked awful for a second, and then he hit that pipe crazy hard, and it was fixed. So I don't know what happened, if it was just like looking weird or whatever, but crazy.
all right. Well, congratulations to Dakota Phend. Well done to Ryan Mayfield, Tyler Jones, and everybody that participated in this race. It was exciting to me. Now let's just real quick touch on the format. Coming out of it, some people like it, some people don't. I think people like that they got a lot of track. I mean, like Ryan Reese, he was in the he was in the intermediate e-buggy main, the intermediate nitro truggy main, and the intermediate nitro buggy main. He got 2 hours and 10 minutes of race time on Sunday. That is a lot of racing. I'm sorry. And I think that was the goal of this race. I know some people, I know Lance does the 3-lap seating in the RC Florida Championships, and people like it. And why they like it is because they don't feel pressure. For me, it was a little hard to follow because my brain was traditionally with 5-minute qualifying.
Yeah,
I like the Super Bowl races. They were exciting, super exciting. Lance made them really exciting, to be honest.
Yeah,
His announcing was really good. I have to say this, though. I give all credit to RaceTime for doing something different. I get they came on a lot of fire for doing this, raising the price to $150, all that type of stuff. So I give them credit for this, but I have to say this, and I have to say this. I am very upset. I'm disappointed. Now, I'm happy that we had moving cameras. I'm happy that it came and all that. Just do not, I know what you're going to do. I literally was very disappointed that, because he said they were going to have live RC there for coverage. And so I'm like, hey, Hooks, what's up, man? Where's Menace Live RC starting? It's like, oh, nope, I'm not involved in this. It's all Dave. So my thing is, this race didn't need much. It didn't need a bunch of cameras. It could have had 2 cameras at the most and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The guy, Jacob, done an excellent job with pictures, really great pictures and all that type of stuff. What I would have liked to seen is maybe, and I told Joseph this, I said, fly. I know you, I get it. Live RC costs a lot of money. You can't afford that. It's, you got to make money. I would have brought Mod in to work with Jacob. You know what I mean? And then, because that's what Mod does. He's good at doing the streaming. He does it with one person, and then Jacob could have done all the video stuff. And then Mod could have done, all that type of stuff. I would have done that. And that way, I think it's manpower. Like, it takes more than one person or 2 people to do this. I've worked with RCGP at America, and I saw how, you got to tell, you hey, go see this person and see that person and, follow that person. So for me, I get it. Dave don't have to do this. This is, his money is being made at the race. I get that. But I just feel like this is the last big race of the year. And I just I'm happy with what we got in the end, but I was really hoping for more. And I get it. It costs money, but that I was really disappointed. I was happy with what we got. Don't get me wrong, but it could have been way better. And I just think that's the next hammer, we got to hammer that in. Like, you know what I mean? Like, hey, let's get better coverage, because
I think the thing about coverage is people don't actually realize that what it means, because it used to be that Neo Buggy flew over to a lot of races. Red RC used to fly over to almost every race in Europe, and they used to do coverage like heat after heat. They did articles on their website. As soon as those kind of died, people forgot about it. Like, all these teams do their own coverage, which is just a photo of the guy who TQs, if it happens to be their team guy, which is nothing. That's not coverage. That's just like marketing for their own brand. So I think people have kind of forgot or
Exactly.
sort of
We
they don't
reminded
really
them of
know
that
how
this
it
weekend,
works.
though.
Yeah, and the fact that we did the podcast, maybe it's not like a hugely popular yet, but a lot of people liked it. A lot of people felt like this was an event happening somewhere around the world and they could follow it. And
Mhm.
just the fact that they had one guy moving the camera around, that was at this point okay. But if they had even a few pit walkabouts, some interviews,
Mhm.
whatever they did, all of that, there's more and more people who join and watch it and actually enjoy it back from their home. And I think that's what people are really missing and sort of forgetting how big Neo Buggy was at the time. Like
Yeah.
Neo Buggy was
The,
huge at some point.
even the people who organize races and want to make money organizing the races, the thing that they need to realize is if they put in a bit more effort, they can also gain more. So if you think about Neo, the entry limit was something like 280 drivers, wasn't it?
Yeah,
At its
yeah,
peak,
yeah.
something like that, almost 300 drivers. And the entry fee was something like $300. I can't remember. It was quite
Yeah, yeah. It
high.
was 250 or 60 pounds, which
Yeah,
is,
okay.
yeah.
But think about it. It was literally like a world championship. There were
Yeah.
drivers there from South Africa, from Malaysia, from Indonesia, from South American countries.
Bermuda.
Globally, people congregated in a barn, in Telford, right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
the race, why was that? Because the race had superb coverage. That's really why.
Mhm.
All the
The only
videos and
reason.
reports and features and
Yeah, it was
everything that
fun.
was done around that made it seem like a massive event.
Mhm.
And this is what something like AMS could be also. It's safe, it's indoors, it's not going to be ruined by rain. You can travel from the other side of the world, know that you're going to get a good race. But people won't do that if it's a shit show, right?
Mhm.
You have to have
Yeah.
some structure. You need guaranteed track time, you need a schedule, and you need good coverage. So this year, I'm curious to see what people thought who were there. But it seemed like they were running on schedule, so you knew when you were up. Everyone got a lot of track time. I hope they keep this for next year and build on it and improve. Tweak the
Mhm.
program a bit where they can improve the experience for races and also improve the coverage. And I'm already working on that, trying to find a way to get sort of more RCGP style or level coverage to a race like this, where
Mhm.
there's, you know, more of a event feeling for the people who are not there. So you know what's going on. You talk to drivers, interviews. You can watch the whole race from beginning to end with commentary, because that's one thing I noticed. Sometimes it was a bit annoying watching the stream and hearing the announcer from the hall. So it wasn't someone announcing what's being filmed, it's someone just announcing. So the announcer could be talking about one thing and they are filming something else.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
that kind of gets a bit annoying at some point. So just if you can have moving cameras and you can have someone dedicated to announcing what's happening on camera, and you can add pit walks and interviews and all that stuff, features on products, add that into it, I think it could be awesome. And I think it's doable for next year.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
that
for sure.
takes manpower, and but
No,
you know how it goes.
Yeah, but
You know how
three
it goes.
guys could do
collaboration
it
is the
well.
name of the game. It's
Yeah,
possible to do next year. I'm
yeah,
really happy they took on the new format and they tried that. People seem to like it. And now next year, I hope
yeah,
that they can go next level on the coverage also.
Yeah,
yeah. The thing I want to say about Neo though is RaceTime at this point of their whatever they are, for let's say RaceTime for last 2 years has had the resources to organize 5 Neo buggies per year. They have had an indoor track
Yeah,
with a pretty good layout. They have had enough people attending where they can easily fill up that amount of drivers. The only thing they lack is marketing, coverage, and the sort of brand of the event. That's all they
yeah,
lack. And the reason they lack that is because they never have tried to create that. PNB has a brand, but it's not like Neobuggy where people want to go there. It's people like if you're local, you show up there and have fun with your friends for 24 hours a day. But they haven't tried to make it sort of that it's an event where everyone around the world can and wants to join. It's they have the resources to do it. They have every reason to do it, but they just haven't done it.
Yeah, and they have 5 races, so why not at least make one of the events like that? So if you want to have one event that's just insane and we race all night, 24-hour practice, that's PMB. Okay, do that. That's fine. Then why not have one event which is the modern day Neo Buggy, where you get all international races in and you make it, more structured, like this AMS could be, because that could be something that American racers also want to experience. Not all of them will travel somewhere to the worlds, right? Well, why not have a race that's equivalent to the indoor worlds in America and have all the international drivers show up? I'm sure they would enjoy that too, if all the best racers were there. Don't you think?
I agree, man.
And that's completely possible to do at some race like AMS. It's in November, it's indoors. I think if that race is promoted right, it can be a massive race.
Yeah.
I mean, and I know Dave wants the Europeans there. He's told me that.
Yeah.
I want to get
but
the
thing
Europeans
is, he wants them there, but he doesn't want to do the work to get them there. I think
exactly.
He's trying
it's just
to do
like,
it now.
How can I pay for some of their travel or something? That's not the same thing. You can get them there by putting that money into the event.
Yeah, exactly. But people don't want to go to an event where you haven't never seen anyone drive on it. Like, everyone loves Neo Buggy everywhere around the world because they have seen the final from 2007 or 2006, whatever it was. The final with 1.6 million views or something crazy on YouTube. They have seen it. They have seen every year the final from Neo Buggy. They have seen those Neo Buggy pit walks about the sauce police. Everyone knows about that stuff. So people saw that and they wanted to be a part of it. But if we never went to PMB, what would we know about it? They have monsters there and some goth chicks with walking around people and taking pictures. That's all we really see online, really.
Yeah. And even just simple stuff like you show up and it's like you have to go to Walmart and buy a table and chair and extension cord. And there's like no thought gone into you arriving there and enjoying an event. Like
they
you
have
get to
tables
Neo
and
Buggy,
stuff for people.
You have pit space, electricity, like everything's done, for you.
Yeah.
And you have the schedule before the race, and you have all the information clearly laid out before you even leave. These are the details. They can be done. Someone just has to do them, and it can become a race where everyone wants to go every year. DNC is that way, kind of, just because of luck. It's like history and luck.
Right. It's prestige because it's a prestigious race. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It is. So I just wanted to say something real quick before we because we were only supposed to do this for an hour, but we spent an hour talking about this. I saw somebody say something, I think it was Tim Lime, and he says 120 people there is not good for manufacturers' business. I was like, well, maybe it's time for the manufacturers and the race promoters to look at promoting RC instead of just trying to cater to the small pie of races that are there. Like, you know what I mean? I know, Joseph, you say RC is not for spectators, and I get that, but I think we could get some behinds and seats at these races if they put
I wouldn't count on that.
Well, I'm not saying that that's just something we can do. You know what I mean? If you put some,
not
just
the
like
way we race today.
No, but you just get them in there for one final. You get them in there and say, "Hey, we're gonna have this pro Nitro Buggy final on this day. Come here." And RaceTime has it where they can do that.
I don't think.
But my point is, can I just finish? Can I just finish one second? So that goes into, it's not just about the people there. It's also about promoting to the people online if you stream it. So if you have proper coverage, right? Your business, your company is seen, like if that race was promoted right and had proper coverage and all that type of stuff, then the manufacturers can their ads, their banners, all that will be seen around the world instead of just by a few people who don't want to tune. Hardcores like us tune in because we love it, but people when 3,500 people tuned in to watch RCGP, the last round of RCGP, it's because it was done properly. Simple as that.
Yeah, but manufacturers would also pay more for advertising events like that. Exactly. He could get more sponsorship income for AMS if he did that.
Yeah,
he has the video guy right there. Like, you know what I mean? Jacob can make all this stuff. So
it's just I think like the whole thing is like locally, you maybe get 100 spectators on an amazing day for RC. You get 100 spectators on the spot. Online, you could easily get 10,000 people watching an RC race online. If you did the work, you did the continuity for a few years, I don't think it's impossible to get 10,000 people watching RC event. And what comes to sort of the initial comment that you brought up is like, it's bad for the manufacturers. There's only how much, 120 people or whatever you said. Like, I think that's the complete opposite, because if you have 800 entries and you get to run on the track 4 times during the event, 3 qualifiers and a 7-minute main, what you're doing then is you are milking your cow to death. You are milking the hobbyists, you're milking the guys who are buying for the manufacturers to death. So at some point, they're going to be like, I always go to this race and I get a 5-minute main. Screw this shit. I'm going to sell my stuff and do something else. When you give people what they actually want, which is go to this race, have fun, race with their friends, race with people on the same level as them, enjoy the sport they're in, these people are going to stay. And then you do the promoting online or over live streams or whatever. You do the promoting elsewhere where you get new people to join. Obviously, for like manufacturers, it's good to have people running truggies and short course trucks and e-truggies and all that. They sell more cars, yeah. But you are not growing RC. You're keeping the same amount of people. You're just getting more money from them.
Yeah, it's I would no say thought into growing RC at all. That's the issue.
I agree that when we talk about spectators, we shouldn't think about spectators at the events. We should think about the spectators online, because like Max said, that's the ones we can reach. We should think like esports, except
esports gets
they are of course a lot bigger than us, but that's the way of thinking. So there's an event and people tune in from all around the world to watch online. That's our spectator base, and that's people we can reach.
Well, in closing, I beg to differ. I think we can get some spectators in there. It takes some work, but the focus should be obviously to get this online as much as we can.
Yeah.
I'm not saying every race has to be great, but at least four of the year have to be exceptional. You know what I mean? 4 or 5. So hopefully, Joseph, you work on something that can get people, a good price point for some of these races to do things, and we get this, coverage that we deserve.
I'm selfishly destroying the hobby. Everything I do is negative, right? I'm keep working on that.
Yeah, keep working on that. And thank you to everybody that tuned into the podcast and sent us some messages, man. It made what we did this weekend a lot worth it. And even Max is like, I'm tired. And I was like, yeah, I know, because you got to be on for the whole weekend and you're not there. So you're just like, oh, I got to watch this and do that. Yeah, I know all about that.
Yeah. But I mean, should we just tell people, like, for next year, the NNRC Cup will happen again. It'll be we talked about this the last time JQ was on. The thing is, if you enjoyed this, like, wait till next year, because every NNRC Cup event, it'll be like this, but most likely even better, because we get more used to it. We know what's up, and hopefully these events we choose most likely have really, really good coverage as well.
And hopefully, like events like DNC and the Worlds and all that type of stuff, like we'll be there. Like, well, me, Joseph, and hopefully you, Maximus. We shall see.
I entry it for the World, so I'll probably be there. It's in Europe.
Yeah, you should do it. You should do it. All right. You know what? But I have to say this. Congratulations, Dave. You and RaceTime and Lance. You guys ran ahead of schedule. You ran, like Joseph. You was worried about them not running the schedule, and they ran ahead of schedule on you. I know it wasn't. I know a lot of people weren't perfect. It wasn't perfect for a lot of people. But when you do something the first time, it's not always perfect. You learn, and you figure out what worked and what didn't, and then apply it to the next race. And I'm not saying all races have to be like this. I'm just saying there's room for more races like this in RC. And I think we should look at it and stop looking at like, oh, it's $150. Like, man, if that's your gripe, then you're like $150 to race is, I don't even have a place to race, you know? So,
look, the people who went there, 2 classes was probably more than enough to race at that event instead of 3 or 4. So you end up spending the same amount of money or saving money, because you're paying for less entries, right? Maybe the entry fee is still the same, but you spend less on tires for all your different cars and all the parts for all the different cars you run. You know, if you decide to just run 8-scale nitro and electric, for example, or nitro truggy and nitro buggy, you know. So you get the same level of enjoyment. It's just in a different way. You don't have to spread it out over all the cars you own.
Yeah,
Cool.
exactly. That's the thing.
I congratulate them, and to everybody that attended, thank you for being open-minded and heading out to this race. I just hope things get better from there on, and congratulations. It was a great last. I know there's other races coming up like Fallbrown and stuff, but this is like the last race where we will see most of these guys get together until SIC in January, and then of course DNC in February. So yeah, I enjoyed it. All right, guys. As you guys know, this podcast is brought to you by Hi-Tech RCD. They are a leader in RC systems delivering the highest performance and reliability, supported by dedicated customer service personnel. The HSB 938 1TH servos have efficient brushless motors, titanium gears, low consumption, constant output, and a metal case. They also regenerate power back into your battery on braking, just like e-cars do. Electric cars. The RDX2 Pro charger, which I have and love it, can charge 2 packs at a time. You can monitor all of that on your phone with their Bluetooth dongle, so you can control all of that. And it's just probably one of the best chargers that I've used. It's got a USB port for engine heating and charging up your phone and whatnot, so check it out. Trust in Hi-Tech, your servo and charger headquarters. You can visit them at hitechrcd.com, where to buy to find your nearest retailer. All right, so we do have some questions. I know we said this was only going to be an hour, and we're already at an hour and 22 minutes. So let's go through some of these questions and answer. We do have a few, but this is the only time we're going to be taking questions this week. So with that said, let's go on to the Beach RC Bench Racing Q&A.
BeachRC.com, the racers' one-stop online hobby shop. Choose from all the popular brands and variety in stock with super fast shipping and great customer service. BeachRC.com still has the local hobby shop feel with all the benefits of the internet. BeachRC.com is the exclusive distributor for Ultimate Racing, JQ Racing, Pro Circuit Racing Tires, Nitro Lux Fuels, and Assault RC Performance products. So fill up your cart and check out at BeachRC.com today.
Thank you to Beach RC for their continued support. Shout out to Brent and Lucas. They were at AMS. I can't wait to see Lucas's video. He's been getting really good with his vlogs. And check them out. We have an affiliate link for them that helps us out. If you can, we greatly appreciate it. And you support a great company. All right, Max. So do we want to get into some of your questions that you have? Or
yeah, I'll dig them up.
Or do you want me to start with some?
Let's start with Kevin's questions, because I forgot about this. He sent this like a month back, so
Okay,
we gotta answer some of that. So the first one is, why are we seeing more and more pros move away from 10 scale? And there really is a lot more high level in nitro than there is in 10 scale. So why does that happen? What do you guys think?
I think because mod's dying in America.
Only because
pretty
of
much
that.
dead.
If it was all stock, do you think 10 scale will grow? Do you think Mayfield will run stock?
I think that these guys maybe, like, who knows if Mayfield's going to run 10 scale next year? You know, he does not. I mean, maybe he's just seen out his career at Yokomo. But when I asked Jared about this, he just like, I think he's like, let's be honest, like Mayfield, Kev, and Tebo have carried 10 scale in America for the last 15 years. You know what I mean? So they're getting up to they all have children now. They all are probably at a stage in their career where they can say where they want to race and stuff like that. And obviously it looks like they prefer nitro and 8-scale races. And I just think I think maybe the direction that 10 scale's going isn't what they really like. Like, sanding tires and being, all that type of stuff. But mod is definitely dying. I think mod should just become pro. Like I said this all the time, and be for the pro racers and whatnot. And the stock guys should be mod or spec mod or whatever it's called.
We are particularly talking about just the pro drivers, because 10 scale isn't dead by any means. It's
Not
pretty
in
big
Europe.
in America.
Not in Europe. It's big. It's big,
No,
but
but
it's
in
mostly
America,
stock.
10 scale is, yeah, but it doesn't matter if it's stock or mod. 10
I
scale is
agree.
still big in America. The thing is, in America, also in Europe, where are the pros? Where are the 10 scale pros?
I think it's a COVID thing, just.
You think? Because I think it started
because
in
I don't
2019 already.
think that was electric buggy really losing the pro drivers before COVID. I don't think so.
10
Everyone was
scale
pretty
buggy.
much, yeah.
Um,
Everyone was still running it, weren't they?
Well, I
Kind
think
of, but if you look like EOS and stuff, already pre-COVID, it wasn't looking too good. Like EOS was getting smaller and smaller by the year since like I remember the peak
Well-
of EOS was probably like 2018, 20, like when Tessman was running EOS and Mayfield was running at one race. That was probably the peak of EOS. And since then, it's been sort of slowing down a lot in Europe, especially.
If I had to guess, or well, why don't I enjoy 10 scale more? It's because of the tires and how the races are. So in America, the problem is they race on the indoor tracks with sauce and slicks and sanding tires and all that bullshit. And you have to like break in the tires just right. And then there's this moment when they are the best and then they are worse again. So it's too difficult. Just fucking put tires on the car and run. Like that's fun. Not all this other bullshit, right? So that's one
you know
thing in
what?
America. And in Europe, it's the problem that race a lot of on carpet or Astro, and you race tires that have a lot of grip. And even there's the problem. So you have to run them like, oh, the tires are the best on the third pack, or like second, third, and fourth battery pack, they're the best. So not the first one, but second, third, and fourth, and then they fade. So you have to be like, oh, okay, so you have to be on that tire game. And it's just, it really sucks. So, and then when it gets competitive enough to where everyone's doing that, it stops being fun. So it's happened in pretty much every class. Touring car racing, boom, huge boom. Everyone was running touring car, right? Then it became too competitive. It's like, well, exactly 22 minutes before, you need to apply the sauce like this. Then you need to wipe it off exactly 7 minutes before. And then right before you have to do that and this, and then you have to peak your battery. It's like, oh my God, Jesus Christ, and tire warmers. It just gets too much and too competitive. And then the fun goes away.
I would agree.
Then
with that.
touring car died, and similar thing could be happening now in 10 scale.
mod.
It goes
In
in
mod.
waves.
Yeah, I think.
It goes,
And
comes
the
and
thing
goes.
is, let's be honest here. AMS, everyone is talking about tires. Every time you move to a track where it's hard packed or high grip, or every time when tires are a big deal, when it's not loamy, when it's not wet, when it's not dusty or bumpy, tires are a huge deal every single time. And when that happens, it's not that fun anymore. In 8 scale, sort of the saving grace probably has been that there's open tires, so people are used to their tires sucking, and it's kind of their own fault. Like people can sort of rationalize that. But in 10 scale or sort of touring cars as well, it's sort of controlled tires, and they allow a lot of stuff you can do with the tires. They allow cutting the pins, they allow saucing the tires, they allow warming up the tires in on road. All that kind of stuff it just makes it too hard. It's like you have to do a lot to make the tire work. And I think that's a really good point, actually, the tires, because I would have personally more went to the way of like 10 scale isn't that exciting really. 8 scale takes a lot more time and effort. You need to prepare the car. It's a long main. It's sort of an event. When you go there, you're excited. 10 scale is sort of, you just go out and practice and recharge the pack and drive and drive and drive. And then if your car is good at the race, you win. It has a lot less of that sort of driving capability and well, obviously you need to be fast driver, but sort of all that effort that goes into 8 scale, 10 scale is just something you can run on the side. And I think that's something that turns a lot of people off, especially pros, because like Mayfield wants to win DNC, But what 10 scale race, apart from the Worlds or really race, does he actually need to win?
Also, I want to say something because I was having this discussion the other day, and if you can trace it back to one event when things started going different, I'm by far I'm not saying that 10 scale's dead, because on a stock level and all that stuff, it's booming. You know what I mean? And you go on a club level like in England and all that stuff, it's booming. But we're talking about on a pro level. You can trace this back to one race and one event, I think. And if you really look at it, we can look at when the Cactus Classic went from outside to inside. There's no more big outdoor 10 scale races. All the cars went from rear motor and all that type of stuff to, basically being like touring cars with bigger shocks. You know what I mean? And
Exactly.
and don't get me wrong, I like carpet. And I think it's fun, and it's for me. I'm just a pleb, so it doesn't really matter to me. I'm not gonna know what's better with grip, anything with 20 battery packs. Obviously, I will, but I think it's just become with the pro guys more just like, hey, it's just not how it used to be. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I think with 8 scale, it still has that. It's how it used to be. Just, you go to this 10 scale race, it's in a building, you're there all day. I guess, yeah, it's nice to be in a controlled environment with air conditioning, all that stuff, but you're smelling the sauce, you're doing all that stuff. You're doing all that stuff, and it's just like, this isn't what we started with when we was younger. And I think we need to see more outdoor races, but then people would say, well, these new cars, they don't work outdoor. Well, like, come on.
They work outdoor. They're fast outdoor.
just
I think the issue with 10 scale is the, for some reason, the attitude for choosing tire is wrong. Like in Finland, for example,
For the rules, you mean?
winter,
For control tire?
yeah, the control that they choose is wrong. Like I can give
Yeah.
a perfect example from Finland. Schumacher came out with the honeycomb tire. It was tested. Everyone who tested it loved it. At this track where the first sort of race of the season was held at. But instead, people chose a mini pin tire because they said it felt better to drive. Well, one thing they left out was this mini pin tire, you have to scrub in for 300 laps. You can't scrub it in with in the bench. You can't scrub it in with the drill or anything because you ruin the pins. You twist the pins, it wears down the wrong way. So you have to go down to the track. You have to run it for 300 laps, and then the tire will be good for 100 laps, and then it will be too worn out.
That's just too much trouble. Who wants to do all
Yeah,
that?
exactly.
Yeah.
That's fucking awful.
I think that the one thing that everyone seems to miss with the control tire is the point isn't to find the best tire for the control tire. No, the point is to find an easy, most consistent solution, which hopefully is a bit loose, right? Because when you have that situation, then everyone's on the same playing field, and you don't have to have the perfectly worn out tire or brand new tires. It's just like, this is a pretty good average tire that's pretty much always the same. That's what you need.
Yeah.
It lasts well, and it's fine. And then
and now,
everyone can focus on car setup instead of the tire.
Yeah. Now, sort of a good example of a control tire is the 8-scale tire we run in Finland. So 8-scale nationals in Finland run control tires. I was there when we were testing tires. I tested this one tires, which was the HB Megabytes, which is a small pin tire. To me, I was fastest with that. I liked it the most. But I know the tire was hard to drive, and you need to set up the car in a certain way. And when we had this other tire, which is the HB Gridlocks, which allows the car to move around a bit, it's much more forgiving. You don't need to have they work when you put them on the car. They work when you drive 100 laps. You have to drive 200 laps. They still work. They don't wear anything. They don't have wear apart from really hot weather, obviously. So when you choose a tire like that, which stays the same for a long amount of time, it works in all conditions. It's very stable, and you always know how the car handles. You don't have any issues. And right now, I've asked people hey, what's the best tire to run on carpet if you want to just have fun? Everyone says the honeycomb. Why the hell do we run the cactus? Why the hell does on EOS carpet? Yeah, the cactus is probably better because it's very high. The the sort of carpet is very thick. But on like basic carpet that is run all around Europe, honeycomb is probably the best tire, and they last a long time, and the grip stays similar because they don't have pins. It's a thread tire, and you can use like additives on it if you want to, but you don't really need to. And for races, you can allow additives. But for example, what I talked about with someone about this last week in Finland, you allow additives outside of the race area and you don't allow anything inside. So I don't think there's issue then, because people would use additives at home or something. The
No,
tire
I
is
don't
more
agree with
grippy.
that.
But then at the race, you don't have an issue of people using additives and a whole place smelling like that bullshit people use. So like you avoid all the issues this way, and you don't have to worry about stuff at this point. I think this is the way to go, and making the tire choice easier for people is the goal. Like that should be the goal, but somehow it's at EOS they have tried to do it, but they have missed the mark for many years. Now they maybe have it together. I don't know, but yeah, there's a lot of issues with tire choice for sure in 10 scale.
You know what?
They try to go for the fastest tire, but it's not about that.
Yeah.
You know what though? I think also there's no real incentive for people to come out of stock in America. People like it there, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But it's like
in America, but Europe, everyone runs mod. So Europe, this
well, yeah, there is no. I think there is maybe some classes in the UK, but not like that. I don't know, man. I don't know what the conundrum is. If it maybe stock is just like Larry says, stock is the future, but it kind of shouldn't be. Like mod should be the upper echelon. Like his point was like, oh, these stock guys will beat these. If these pro drivers drove on, no, if these pro drivers went on to stock, they beat fast stock guys too because they're good. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know how to fix 10 scale. I know that this race coming up this weekend in Florida is going to be big, and I like seeing stuff like that. But I'm not saying the 10 scale is dying. I think mod is dying, and the pro participation in mod. I mean, it's like if you really want to be a good driver, like if you want to make money and be popular, it's really you need to do both. But if you're gonna pick one, I would pick 8 scale. You know, so
yeah,
I don't know.
But
man.
Okay, I think that leads to the second one that Kevin had, which is, would RCGP be like sensible to do for 10 scale? Because I think realistically it's not a very good idea, because like I think people are the most interested in 8 scale.
I mean, I would say yes, but we already have EOS for 10 scale, and there are all kinds of series in America already, and RCGP can only focus on one thing to begin with. Later on, yeah, sure. I think 10 scale off-road could be fun. I mean, every single class could work for RCGP on some level, but to begin with, to showcase our hobby to people, I think 8 scale off-road is the best way. That's my opinion.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I also think, no offense to the 10 scale class, I enjoy watching it at times, but I'm sorry, like I just don't think, like even e-buggy, I like it, but it doesn't get me my blood going like nitro buggy and truggy.
Yeah,
you know,
it's weird. I don't know if it's just the bias that I like driving a nitro buggy, but for sure, like 10 scale worlds versus 8 scale worlds, like it's, to me, like there's not much excitement for 10 scale worlds. It's weird.
Yeah, I
don't know
agree.
if it's a weird, maybe I'm biased on this, so I hard to say, but yeah, 10 scale is a weird, because it used to be the biggest class. It used to be the one where everybody ran, tour drive especially.
Yeah, it's difficult, man. It's weird. It's like, it's just weird not even seeing Tebo at a nationals, like a 10 scale nationals.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So, all right, what, you got one more question there, or do we
Yeah,
have to
one
go
more
to my
question
questions?
from Augie is, this is mostly for GQ because I'm not 100% sure about this. So what happens if I run thinner hex in front versus the rear and vice versa? So sort of widening the car from the hex in the front versus the rear.
I have a few good videos on this because it's not quite as simple as that. It depends on the car itself. But on your normal sort of C-Hub car, HB, JQ, Kyosho, if you go to a wider hex on the front, it makes the steering more aggressive. You have more initial steering. It kind of feels like you just have more steering, but it's the initial into the corner that's more. And then if you go narrower, you have less initial steering, and it also sort of catches bumps less. So basically, on those cars with the C-Hub steering, you go narrow for less steering, wide for more steering. That's how I would say it.
Yeah,
and then on the pillow ball cars, it's a bit different. So Max ran associated now, so maybe he can confirm. But on the pillow ball cars, it's different because when you put wider hex on, wait, let me think about this. So it's not entirely the opposite. It's like the difference between steering mid corner and into the corner is less when you put a wider hex on.
On the rear or on the front?
On the front. So when you go to narrow hex on a pillow ball car, you have less steering into the corner, but then you turn the wheel more. And then mid corner, when the car wants to turn more, the car will turn more. So you can feel that the narrow hex has more steering. But it's not the same as on the C-Hub more steering. It's more steering because you have initially less steering, so you turn the wheel more, and then it sort of surprises you mid corner. And then when you go to a wider hex, you actually have more steering into the corner, but it's closer to the same as what you have mid corner. And as a driver, because you have more initial, you turn the wheel less, so you're driving a bit with less wheel input, which makes it not have that oversteer mid corner.
Yeah.
Okay.
And especially oftentimes what people do is they also in the pillow ball cars, because you can make the arms longer. Oftentimes what people do is they make the arm longer and then they put the hex narrower. So what happens is the longer arms calms down the car. So the initial sort of steering is even more calmer. And then when you steer even more, and in the mid corner, it sort of grabs the car a bit. So it's a bit sort of harder to control a lot of times, even though it's easier going high speed, going over bumps because you have longer arms. But in the corner, you have that sort of grabbing thing where suddenly it starts to turn more than you think it would.
So on the Mayako, you can actually have both front ends. So you can have geometry, which is like on the pillow ball car. So what I've noticed is with that geometry, I like running a wider hex because it makes the steering more linear. It's actually, for me, the way I drive, it's easier with a wider hex on a pillow ball car on the front.
Interesting.
I think he only asked about the front, so let's not even
he
get
asked
into
about the rear as well. But rear, there's a lot more things because when it's a sort of pillow ball car style rear end, apart from S-Works, going to a wider hex, it's not the same as going to a wider hex on an HB style car, at least the way I felt it.
No, on Kyosho, HB, JQ, the sort of normal C-Hub cars, when you go to a wider hex, you have more rear grip. It just locks the rear in on power. And into the corner, you also have more grip, but mid corner, maybe the rear would slide a bit. And it's not quite as good in bumps. Narrow hex on a car like that is just overall the rear is a bit looser. So you go into the corner, it's a bit looser. It slides over bumps better, so it's better in bumps. Then when you get on power, you don't have as much rear grip. So if the rear end feels loose, you can go to a wider hex on the rear and you'll just have more grip. But then on the pillow ball cars, when the hub looks like a Mugen or associated, so basically the hex is, if you look at the hub from the rear, you see the hinge pin is kind of far out, almost under the hex. When it's that way, the wider hex will actually probably make the car easier to drive, because when you have a narrow hex, the rear end will want to steer the car. So mid corner, get on throttle, and the rear wants to step out. So then you would put a wider hex to reduce that effect.
Yeah, but it's also weird because when I was running JQ and I went to a wider hex, it was always like into corner, the rear end wants to be catched out. But on the associate, it's the opposite. When you go to a narrower hex, into the corner, the rear end has good grip. But as soon as you go on power and on throttle, I feel there's a much harder time really on the narrow hex. But it doesn't help as much going to the wide one, because I tried super wide hexes last summer. It doesn't have the same effect where you just gain and gain grip. It's sort of at some point it feels like the rear end. It's not just consistent. So you will need to find sort of a place where it works, and then you just use that really.
Yeah,
that's where I found
going to the wider hex on those cars doesn't really increase rear grip. It just reduces rear steer, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's as loose, but at least the rear isn't trying to turn the car anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Nathan Genda, because I think he was in our watch party yesterday, and he asked, "What's JQ thoughts on Phend being the only guy to have two people pit him?" Now, this was we was debating whether this was true or not, but somebody said it was pre-COVID, like when COVID was around.
Cavalieri also had.
Ooh, so TLR has two guys.
Did you notice that everybody else only had one pit guy and TLR
well,
guys had two?
I don't know. Like the thing is, like America doesn't have rules. America is not a country for people who want to have rules. So
well, not for RC. There's plenty of rules in America.
Yeah, but those
don't kneel for the anthem. That's a rule.
Yeah, that's a rule. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but I think probably at least some point, if people think that's a rule, it probably at some point the announcer said there was that. But like, what you gonna do? Where's the rule book? Like, which page on the rule book are you gonna point at? Hey, this is the rule. There isn't one. So but I think this could move into a more bigger conversation about American racing. There's a lot of money on the line at these bigger races, and there isn't any rules. Like, I don't know if DMC has a proper rule book. I know they do some tech, but it's like, come on. It's not really that sort of controlled environment where, because there could be like tens of thousands on the line for a bad tech decision.
I don't think this will necessarily ever change in America for RC. Maybe we can have a few like maybe AMS can be one race that's just amazing in every way. Maybe RCGP in America can be that way.
Nationals.
So there would be, well, maybe, but I don't know.
Nationals amazing in the same sentence.
Because even in motocross in America, they have these same issues. Like Pulp MX show, Steve Mathis had this rant about the world vets. So they had this world championship for vets. So 30 plus, 35 plus, 40 plus, 45 plus, all these different classes, right? But because his rant was so perfect, it could have been a rant we have here. He was saying, instead of just focusing on entries and getting as much money as possible, give some value to the races. Like, they shortened the races. They did everything they could just to get as many entries as possible. So a ton of different classes. They didn't think about how they structured the day. So what they did was they have like 6-minute races, or I can't remember, like something ridiculous. Like, what the fuck? That's only a few laps.
Yeah.
But they would do it so someone starts their race, and then the next class starts while the other guys are still riding. So they had this problem where they had a slow class like finishing their race, and then like the fastest guys. So then there was this situation where some fucking, average Joe was riding the track, and Mike Alessi came and jumped into him.
Yeah.
Like, it was a massive crash. Right?
Yeah.
Because the other guy was like cruising and wasn't doing the jumps, and then Alessi comes blind jump, boom, just into him. Like, literally, he could have died, right?
Yeah,
in the video,
I don't know what happened to him. He was,
but he did.
Didn't
apparently, he was
okay
okay in the end. Like, he was paralyzed for a bit, but then he was okay. But just like, Jesus Christ! So if they are doing these kind of things in motocross, where there's guaranteed more money involved, and they're just going for the entries and not giving a shit about the actual race and making all kinds of basic mistakes like this, then we have no hope, seriously.
I don't know. I don't know if there was a rule or what, but somebody had mentioned it, and then I was like, oh wow, they are the only two. Wow, I only saw Cav. I mean, Phend, I didn't, but there are only two. But
it
I don't
sounds
know,
like
like,
Keenan
I don't
missed the
know,
whole.
man.
I think it sounds like Keenan missed everything JQ said there, because he should just kept on going with the 2-man pit crew.
I don't know, man, because that's just stuck in my mind. Like, that's the only thing I can think about. Like, you know what I mean? If any,
yeah.
you know, when Joseph starts going on, I just kind of,
You zone out.
yeah, he gets in that monotone science mode, and I'm just like,
It was a good
Goes over
talk
your
about
head.
why.
no, I heard
America
about the
will
Steve
always
Mathis rant. I heard that.
have the
That was
issues.
good.
Yeah. Okay.
Yellow wheels are faster. I don't know, Joseph. Are yellow wheels faster? Max, you won.
Yes.
You won both wheels.
I run yellow, but unfortunately in Finland now we have the control tires, so I have to run white. Yeah,
Mm-mm.
yellow
I'm
is
gonna go
faster.
green next year. I'm going full
Green?
Kanai.
Mm.
Yeah.
His coyote should look badass.
I want to go.
too.
I want to go orange next year.
We can make that happen.
Does anyone have orange wheels? I want to go orange.
All right. Next, Max and orange. You're not having orange. You're gonna be like Savoya. Savoya likes orange wheels, right?
You know the Japanese guy, Sigura.
Yes, he likes orange wheels too.
He paints the wheels orange.
He has a lot of time on his hands.
Yeah, I remember people at the Worlds were saying he was painting the wheels orange.
Yeah.
He definitely wanted to be coordinated. Jacob Peterson, who did all the photography at RaceTime. Good job, dude. Great pictures. I know he was Don. People like didn't have manpower to run the cameras. I know. So I don't blame him or blame anybody. I just say, yeah, we should need more manpower for that. But he asked, I'm curious what people thought of the format, both from people who attended and online viewers. So Kyle Neary, who has probably one of the best backyard tracks I've ever seen, he goes, this is his thoughts, and he posted it. He says, I love the Super Bowl, and he was at the race. I love the Super Bowl, longer mains, but wasn't a fan of 3 consecutive lap qualifying. This was the general view in the groups I was with at the track, which I could understand. Normal qualifying, he says, just do normal qualifying, Super Bowl to start off, grid position and DQ. Mains, he says, I had an amazing time, so much track time, and the layout was the most challenging race time track I've raced. And yes, Max, it was 37 degrees one of the days. It was icebox.
During the day.
It was cold.
37 is freezing almost. 32 is 0 in Celsius.
Yeah. So I think that's about what I got in general from people about the race as well.
I would say that the qualifying, I wish that a race would try the whole 3-lap, 4-lap, or 5-lap, but the best average, especially a race that has good coverage, because OCRC, they run this for qualifying, and it's awesome because you can be out there and he will, like 3 minutes into the race, he will give you the standings, like Ryan Cavalieri 26.4 or something, and then Mayfield 26.5. So Mayfield knows that, okay, he just needs to have one stellar lap to get his average faster, you know, and then everyone will watch Mayfield do that lap, right? Because they know, like, okay, he's going to go for a flying lap now. And then he Mayfields the shit out of it and has a perfect lap. And everyone was watching, and he just did something absolutely amazing, right? Everyone's like, holy shit, that was insane. Did you see what he did there? And then he's like, Mayfield's average 26.3, you know? It will make qualifying a situation where the drivers are pushing the absolute limit to get the best lap time. You don't get that when you do a whole 5-minute run. And this is the critical thing. You also don't get that when you have 3 consecutive laps. It has to be just do one fucking fast lap, okay? Then relax for a lap or mess up or whatever. And then focus, do another fucking fast lap, right? So if you have
that would
10
make it
laps,
super exciting too.
Yes. So if you have 6 minutes on the track or 5 minutes on the track, you know that you will do, let's say you will do 10 laps. You know that you only need 4 of them, right? So not only does that mean that you can pull in the pits or whatever, it also means that it creates this situation where you have different guys going for a fast lap at different times. And if you have a really good announcer who is looking at the situation, you can sort of prime the driver and the audience to like, oh, this guy needs a fast lap now. And then people will be watching that guy. And then he'll go for a fast lap, you know? So I just
everybody
think it will
loves
change
hot laps.
it will change the dynamic of qualifying, which in every other sport, qualifying is about going fast. That's what Max also said. Like
Mm-hmm.
in RC, it's not about going fast. It's about being consistent while going fast. Well, that's different to going as fast as humanly possible, you know, and that's what we should have. We should have it so when the best driver does an absolutely stellar lap, that's like the highlight of qualifying. Did you see Phend go 7/10 faster than anyone else? Did you see that shit? That was insane. That's what qualifying is about, right? Then once you're done with that, you have a few rounds of that, then you go into the qualifying race. So it's now that we've seeded into the brackets. We have the guys who were able to do those 5 fast laps in 5 minutes. And now we race. And then that's a race, heads up race, and then you end qualifying. I think I would really like to see that format played out and see how it goes in a race like this.
I'm surprised people wouldn't want that anyway, because what's the first thing people say? Oh, I had fastest lap. You know, I hit hot laps. Everybody loves hot laps.
Yeah.
Well, let's make hot laps mean something instead of just bragging rights, you know?
Yeah. And the thing is, like, when you have the qualifying race, or in this case the Super Bowl, the fact that someone can do 5 fast laps, someone like Phend, who can definitely do crazy hot laps, but then has some issues in mains and can't really keep it consistent, you will have to be tested in that qualifying race. Like, it's not like you just run with like a knucklehead on the track with trying to do the fastest laps and then get the TQ and start first in the main or anything like that. You still have to survive the qualifying race. You still have to prove yourself that you can be consistent when it counts. And I think that's sort of the best combination of both. You can see the top speed of the guys, you can see the racecraft and the skill and consistency of these guys, and then you go into main and see who's the winner. So I think that's sort of the whole structure goes together.
Also, another positive is for the racer themselves. So one thing that really pisses me off at races is when something happens in qualifying that's not my fault. So someone crashes in front of them, the marshal walks in front of my car, like all kinds of bullshit like this that can ruin your qualifying round. With this system, it wouldn't ruin your round. It just ruins one lap. So who cares? You still have enough laps to make up for that. So the stress level will also be lower in that sense. And luck will have less to do with it. Because everyone can get, if it's like a case where the rule is something that 30% or 40% of your laps, that's how many count, right? So if you do 10 laps in 5 minutes, then 4 of those laps, that's what counts. And it's the average of that lap. You know, more than half of your laps will be discarded. So one bad lap, one guy taking you out or crashing in front of you, one bad marshal, it doesn't matter. You know, so there'll be less yelling and stress and all that because people know it's just one lap. Who cares? You know, I'll have some good laps here. So there's that too.
And also the thing I feel is at this race they did 3 qualifying runs. I see no reason to do 3 when you have the top 5 format. You can do 2, and like in 2 you should be able to get the sort of the results that you are after. And what that allows is it's more room in the schedule. You can run even longer mains if you want to. You can run some different formats if you want to. In America, you can go to the sort of Christmas tree system that is used in Europe, where you have the semis, the odds, and the evens. That when people get even more track time, something like that could be switched as well. So you can gain time in the schedule. You can bring more people in, whatever it is. But when you run 5-minute qualifiers, you have to have at least 3. You just have to have it. And I think there is no point to run 2 days of qualifying at DNC and then run 1 day of mains. It's like, yeah, I don't see.
And also we often forget, but many people who do those races, when they are in the lower mains, on the last day, they are done like before 8 a.m. You know, and they raced for 7 minutes or something. Like, how long will they keep doing that? Like, if they are there for the racing more than the socializing, they wouldn't do it. We have to make it so you can be there for the racing or you can be there for the socializing or both. So whatever is the reason you're there, you will enjoy it. And you can't tell me that someone who goes to a race like DNC for the racing is happy to be done at 8 a.m. on main day after having raced like 6-minute race or something. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
It is.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I like hot laps. Excuse me.
But I think for sure this format, at least in the perspective of me, I think it worked really well. I think there was no point where I was like, oh, maybe it doesn't work. I think the whole way through it looked like it worked. And I think the top 3 consecutive laps, it seemed like something I would have changed before they went. And I think what people said about it confirms that. I think top 5 laps overall is a better system, and I think that's what AMS should try for next year. And I think that's what other races should implement as well.
I remember doing it at OCRC, and it was fun as a driver too, because you're doing your run, and especially you need an announcer that's on his game and sort of telling people what's going on. It makes it better for the racers and also for the spectators. So it's good, because as a driver, then you try and do a really good lap. You know, if you get out of your rhythm, you sort of gather yourself and go again. So yeah, it's good.
All right, Adam Ross, was Phend running the new buggy? From our sources,
Yeah.
he's been running that since Silver State,
Yeah.
or parts of it since Silver State.
Yeah, but I don't know if they are trying to do a new buggy. What I'm hearing, what I've seen from pictures, it's a new rear end, or like some new bits in the rear end, and new A and B block in front.
Yeah, the only pictures I saw, the front looked the same. So yeah, narrow pivot,
I heard-
arm, but I haven't seen the rear hub, so I don't know if they
I
changed the
heard
offset.
they had tried the like a few degrees KPI like HB has.
I think that what happened really was that Barry Baker bought the Invisible Speed online course and watched all the videos, and then Thomas Tran bought the book, the Invisible Speed book, and they read through that. They also watched my video on the TLR buggy, and then basically that they came to the conclusion that they need to change the rear end, and that's what they've done. So yeah, maybe we'll see less fending in 2022.
I hope.
Happy to be of service.
Adam Reevy asked what happened to Ogden. We already explained what happened to Ogden, like kind of like his MO sometimes. He can either be really
Ogden-
fast and on fire.
By the
or-
way, if you get the cease and desist this time, just forward it to me.
Oh, I am. JQ's comments do not represent the views of the NNRC Horizon. Disclaimer. All right. Adam Reevy about Ogden. I mean, he just blew out, man. He just blew out. He makes mistakes.
But you know
he
what,
can't
guys?
mentally get back.
This it's more often than not that this happens. This is his MO. If he's not out in the front, this is what happens. It's like you should know, if he's starting from 8th, he'll finish last or second to last. Like,
but that's not true. That's not true at all, because when he was at the Nationals, he was down a lap from the beginning in his semi and unlapped himself and won that, and then was up to 3rd in the finals. So we know that he has the potential to do these things. He just has to.
That happened
it's a
like
mental
6
game.
years ago. That happens like
Yes.
6 years ago.
If you would have saw the way the guy was driving at the Nationals,
This year,
wow, yes.
but this year
He
he's
has
driving
the
up
potential
front,
to do
and he
all
led
of this. He just
from the start. That's what I'm saying. If he's out front, if he keeps doing his game, he keeps his head together, he can win. He has the speed, he has the talent, he has the consistency. What he doesn't have is sort of keeping his head together when it's not going his way.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Benjamin James, where does his performance this weekend and his win at Southern Nets put Dakota Phend in the run-up for the Worlds next year? I think we're talking about a whole different track.
Wait. Worlds is Redovan.
Yeah.
Actually, he could be good. He could be okay. He could be okay if it doesn't get bumpy.
Let's see what they do with the layout and the surface, but if I had to put my money on someone now, it would definitely not be Phend on that track.
Oh,
yeah.
No. But I mean, let's imagine
I take Mayfield over. I take Mayfield, Cav, and Tebo.
Yeah. I mean, Ongaro, Ronnefalk, Robert, Canas,
Mayfield,
Berton, Mayfield, Tessman on that track. Yeah, I think.
Cav. The question is,
the
question should be, how many Americans do you think are going to make the final at the Worlds next year?
We have to
I
talk
think it'll
about that
be-
on another podcast.
Yeah, we do.
I think
know.
it'll be pretty similar to always. It's always around 6 and 6.
Yeah.
I think so.
I don't
It's
think
like
that's
half
gonna
and
be-
half, pretty much.
Maybe we do. Maybe we don't. You'll see.
Yeah, this might go a bit European.
Yeah.
It depends a lot what they do with the layout,
Mhm.
to be honest.
Yeah. But for sure, Fend will be fast if it's like Radovan has usually been. But if it gets even slightly bumpy, slightly dusty, or it gets sort of, well, he'll probably run Pro Line next year anyway. But if he gets slightly bumpy or dusty, it's gonna be hard for him.
All right.
That's
So
all.
Colin Branch of TLR fame. What's up, Colin? He asks, are 3 rounds of qualifying really needed with the format 3 fastest consecutive laps?
Yeah,
No,
we
we
kind of
covered
went through
it.
that. No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's
Hey,
what
you have to
talked
pay
about.
me overtime now. It's over 2 hours.
I know, but I could have sworn you answered that, Max. All right. So here's the big thing that came out of AMS, and it happened at the time I was at this race. This happened at DNC, all this type of stuff. So somebody stole like a big bag of, I think either they belong to Patrick
yeah.
Rossiter, took a big bag of J Concepts tires from him. Joey Fisher's asked, why do people keep stealing other people's stuff? Well, if this is a freaking RC racer doing this, then this guy shouldn't be allowed at any race ever again, in my opinion. If we find out that this person that
How would a
anything-
non-RC racer steal J Concepts tires?
Yeah.
but like, all right. So remember when we was at DNC in 2018, a guy's e-buggy went missing. I think even the
Dude,
Paul
every American race I've been to, someone has gotten shit stolen. Like,
well,
I haven't gone
because it
to a big
happens during the
American race.
mains.
Yeah, it does. And the thing is, like, this is not anything spectacular in America. This is how the culture is there. This is like people get their shit stolen in RC races. This is part of the American RC culture. And
At big races,
I can't at big races, yeah. And the thing is, like, there isn't enough of like effort to try and fix this by anyone really. So like I always find it a bit hilarious when people are surprised that, oh, my shit got stolen. Yeah, it happens at fucking every race. Like, and like
No.
people should try to fix.
I think
this
if cars
before it
get stolen,
happens.
I think I really think it's non-RC people, because I think it's people, oh, that's a car, I can sell it, like, and make some money real quick. Which is probably a
No,
drug
but I
addict of
mean,
some sort. No, I'm
dude.
telling you, I don't think people is gonna steal somebody's car. It's too, like, in RC, it's just too noticeable. You know what I mean?
No,
Tires
but like
now,
you throw
tires
you
are
throw the
different.
body away. You throw the body away. You run the track. You run the car out on track a few times. You switch the electronics. You sell it again. You gotta.
Yeah, that's possible. That's
Like,
possible.
yeah.
That's very possible
and
too.
especially someone like DNC, where a lot of people fly into.
Mhm.
Come on, like, yeah, it's
Well, I
like,
think
no
the
issue.
best way to do it is to be vigilant. And I remember Joseph one time he was at a race and he's like, "Yeah, pack this stuff away. We're gonna go watch the mains." That's when people steal the most. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And it's a shame that we have to be vigilant like that. But I mean, you have to be vigilant in life, period. So, you know, and I've been guilty enough to leave stuff wide open. And it just, when you go to races, say like these one-off races too, you just don't know the type of people that's around or the type of area that it might be. You know what I mean? As well, because it seems to happen a lot at these one-off races.
Yeah,
So
obviously,
who
but the thing
knows?
is, like, this
You know what
doesn't
should happen
in-
though?
yeah.
Seriously, I don't condone violence, and I know you'll get in trouble for doing this. But if somebody was to catch somebody stealing something, well, they should restrain them forcefully until the police come, and then
Yeah, then
actually
they
call the
can
police
beat them
and-
up.
No, you can't beat people up, but you can.
They
you can
can in
forcefully.
America.
You can forcefully. No, you'll go jail. You'll get in
The
trouble. too.
the police
can
won't go
f-
to jail.
No,
We'll
the
restrain them. Wait the police to come
people.
up and beat them up.
No, but persecute these people. It may not mean nothing, but it's just getting to the ridiculous. Like, I see a lot of this type of stuff. I see people get stuff stolen out of their cars and all that stuff. That was always one. This is different. That was always one of my biggest fear when I was driving the janky JQ van across America on my own and having like someone breaking in and stealing all that stuff, or even when it was just me and Mike. So to say
I
all
was
of
so
that,
scared of that.
yeah,
Stealing my life, basically.
Yeah,
yeah,
but the thing is, this is not an issue in Europe. I don't know if this is an issue in America, but this is an America problem, not an RC problem.
Could be.
Yeah, the thing in Europe, you can have your shit stolen, but it doesn't happen at the track in the pits.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Exactly that.
Well, look at David's.
Like in
he
America,
didn't
it's like
steal it, he
the
left it.
car was stolen off the pit table.
Yeah.
You know, those kind of things.
Yeah.
That's like, what? How?
Yeah.
It's
You know?
easy because people just when people know, hey man, this when the main's on, everybody's gonna be watching that, you know.
Yeah.
And then that's easy pickings. And then if you ain't like, and some people will pit way out in no man's land sometimes too. You know what I mean? And that's
Yeah, but then
but
again, like
it shouldn't happen.
there are literally racers in America who are basically homeless, living in their car or something, and they go to an RC race.
Like it's most likely those guys who do it, because it's if you're a random person who's like sees like, oh, there's an event here in middle of Tennessee, and you go to someone's like go into an arena, see that a lot of people are watching a race, you're not going to be confident enough to just
Yes,
steal
man. I'm
stuff.
telling you.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. At this race, when I was there in 2018, some of the stuff got stolen. And I don't think it's RC
Yeah,
people. I
but
think it's listen
It is
to
RC
me.
people.
You gotta
100%.
understand. It could be. I'm not saying that it can't be RC people. I just don't think it's RC people. I think it's people that know that something's happening here. That like you gotta understand. Like there's opportunistic people out there that would just, hey, what's that over there? Let me go over there.
They wouldn't
Yes,
steal a
they
bag of
would.
J Concepts tires.
No, but they
Yeah.
would steal a whole car because they take that car to a pawn
Yeah,
shop,
maybe, yeah.
and then get some money for it. You remember, like there's drug
but-
addicts and all this type of stuff out there, and
Yeah, but dude,
they'll take a
in the middle of
$500
Tennessee.
car and sell it for 50. Yes, no, that's what you don't understand. Sorry, you're in the middle of these areas. Like people know this stuff is happening. You know what I mean? That's the whole thing. You're in these small towns, so they know something's happening. So they listen.
What about DNC though? Because DNC, it's like this was in
You're telling me
Phoenix.
you
This
can't
was in
see
the-
that nothing. You can't
This
see
was
that
in the
something
middle of the
big's
fucking
happening there.
desert where the track
No,
is,
but
and
it's
someone
not
stole a
though.
car.
You're wrong, people, man. You don't understand. You just don't see it because you never left the track. There's people all around. There's people everywhere.
It was highways around it. It's the middle of the desert. There's
Right.
nothing
So
around
somebody look
except that
exactly. So
music
you come
thing.
over that highway. Oh wow, what's all those lights and tents and all that stuff over there? Oh, let me go check it out. Oh, this is an opportunity. Oh, this person's left us stuff there. This person, boom, steal, go. Simple.
Or
I'm
you're
not
an
saying
RC
it's
guy
not
who
RC
lives-
people's. I'm not saying it can't be RC
yeah.
people, but you have to understand.
But
I know
which one is more probable? The fact that someone happens to steer away from a highway to an RC track, find a tent, find a car, think, oh, I'm about to steal, or an RC guy
Yes,
who
that's
knows
how
that
most
people are
thefts
going to
happen.
watch them, or an RC guy who knows when the mains are up,
that too.
people are going to watch it, and they know, okay, these pits I see, there's no guys here, so I'm gonna go there and steal a bag of J Concepts tires. Hey, there's an HB buggy. Let's look if there's any markings on the chassis. No, take that as well. Walk away.
Yeah, but it's
stack
shitty.
that in
It's
the
shitty.
car,
If RC
and
people
go
are
away.
doing this,
They are.
then they shouldn't
Most
be fucking
likely
allowed to
it's
any
all
more
of them.
races. You should shame if you
No,
ever
but-
find out who this was. Shame them to the point like they cannot go to any race. But that wouldn't happen.
Do you think people who steal other people's cars have any sort of feel of shame? Really, it's
Yeah,
they
but
don't-
it's
they
not
don't
about
care.
it's not
They
about
are-
shame. It's about knowing. Like, hey, this person steals. Don't let him to your track. You know what I mean? This person's
Well, what
shady
happened with E-Clip?
because I don't know. I think
Yeah.
E-Club still
These
definitely still a
people
lot of
are
our
like
bears.
E-Clip level shit. You know?
I don't know. Jesus Christ. I don't know, but stealing is shitty. And stealing from people like, whoa, racers here and whoa, spend a lot of money on this stuff to race and have somebody come in and steal your shit is bad. I'm not saying it's all RC people. I definitely think it can be outside people because
What do you mean? You
because it's
were
typical-
arguing that it's not RC people at all.
no, you bring up good points. I did not say it not them at all. I'm saying there's a lot of opportunistic thieves. Like for instance, somebody knows that this race is gonna be there. So they're like, hey, last year I stole a car. I got $50 for it. I got to smoke some crack or something or buy some pills or something like that out of it. You know what I mean?
Or pay for the
So-
medical.
No, I don't. People that are stealing this type of stuff are paying for like that's
How
some
do you know in
grimy
America?
shit.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if someone paid for the
And
medical.
this can
but
happen
if you just
anywhere,
stole a
man.
motorcycle.
Europe isn't. This happens anywhere. This is
No,
Europe
it
isn't
doesn't.
immune to this. People get stuff
Dude,
gets stolen
it
in
doesn't.
Europe.
This
Yes,
doesn't
not at
happen in
RC
Europe.
tracks. People's
Exactly.
stuff
That's
gets
the point.
people's stuff gets stolen out of their cars
Yeah.
and all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Yes,
but
now
they
stealing
don't
stuff
know
at the
they don't know they're stealing RC stuff. In Europe at RC tracks, this does not happen.
well,
In Europe,
I've
this
never heard of
happens
that.
at
So
in Italy and stuff, there are sort of signs warning from thieves and stuff like that. So you shouldn't leave stuff in your cars and everything like that. But at an RC event, I have never heard anyone getting their shit stolen in Europe. In America,
I
every single race
have,
I went
but
to.
only in the parking lot,
yeah.
like not in the
Yeah.
actual race.
The thing
Yeah.
is, like, I don't think, like, okay, someone stealing some JC tires, they knew what they were stealing. You know what I mean? So it probably was an RC guy.
Yeah.
But somebody swiping a whole car, I'm not saying it can be an RC guy, but it's probably some junkie looking for his fix.
Let's
know
put
what I
it
mean? 'Cause he
this
sells
way.
that to
It's
a pawn
more
shop.
likely.
Okay, I need
than
to go
there
get
could
my
be
fix
somewhere
now.
else.
So why can't you settle this goddamn argument and we can move on?
Yeah, let's go. Stealing is shitty. Stop stealing. Simple as that. If you get caught
Except
stealing,
if you steal from Lefty,
no, if you steal from Lefty, I got
Like
one
that
good right.
Yeah, I
yellow
think
dildo in the
Keenan.
background. What is that?
Oh,
Oh
I
yeah,
see.
we
Now
forgot about that.
now
What is
you're
it?
ratting me out. I can't let you guys
Does
see
your
all
wife
that.
know? Does your
No.
wife know?
She's not gonna know either. Let me see. Oh, hold
There's
on.
some new RC toy behind Keenan in the video. About
That's
So-
58 inches of and 35 cc's of pure unadulterated action.
so
right there.
is this Titanic 2 or 3 actually? There was the real
Yeah,
Titanic,
3.
then you had Titanic 2 and now this is 3.
Yeah.
No, this is a little bit different. All right, Curtis Wong. Do races without set rules matter?
With what
In
set?
America, they do.
Without set rules? Look, stop hammering on America, Max.
No,
Jesus,
the thing
you
is,
are
like,
let's be
all-
honest.
it's like layup. It's layup after layup, and I all I can do is just say like, hey, fix your shit. That's all I can say.
Well,
The
you know
thing
what
is,
it
like-
comes down to at the end of the day? It comes down to no proper federation. As much as you criticize EFRA,
I disagree.
they actually
disagree.
have it. Look, if it wasn't for EFRA, you guys would have federations that have rules and guidelines, and you guys race by rules and
disagree.
guidelines.
You know why? Because we have a national federations as well. How many states?
Oh, you mean like for the for the? Well, that's what I mean.
Without,
You have
without EFRA, every single European country would have an RC federation. Every
right. So
single one.
it comes down to the federations. America doesn't have a
Yeah.
federation. It has
Yeah,
RAW.
they barely
Yeah,
have
they
a
have.
federal federation. But they don't
That's
have
the
a
only
state one.
race that has somewhat rules. Every
Yeah,
other
but-
race, pretty much. I mean, sometimes they have pre-tech before the mains for tanks.
Mhm.
If I bump up, they check my car carefully. I mean, what?
that's
I've
true.
been disqualified now twice. Yeah, I have. Can you believe that? So
Yeah.
Well,
get
your
this.
one
Get
was
this.
not because of
no,
cars.
listen. I have bumped. Actually, both were truck. Also, I bumped from the B to the A twice. Once in DNC and once Silver State, and was disqualified. The one at DNC was funny because they had some shitty ass scale and that showed that I was like 17 grams over or under, and they had another one where I was okay. They had 2, but
So
then
they
I
just used
knew.
the one that
You
you
know
were
when I
under?
knew I was screwed? When the guy who would make the main, if I was disqualified, ran Losey, and then Adam Drake walks up, I'm like, I'm just gonna leave now. You know, because he was a Losey back then. So obviously the Losey guy gets
Yeah.
in, right?
you
So
know
I
what?
knew I was
Though?
done.
It just comes down to a club level. Like we kind of got on this about the guy letting the people in there to practice on practice day. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
after
Jason
practice day.
Ashton winning the nationals, and well, his 4 cc's over. It's okay. He would have won anyway.
Yeah.
And then they didn't disqualify him. It's like that.
Yeah,
you know?
the thing is,
It's
he
so
didn't.
funny.
He was
Well, he
four-
stopped
was
at 6
40
minutes.
Yeah,
fine.
yeah.
Fuck.
So he barely made 6 minutes, and he went
Yeah.
4 cc's over, and then he got the win still. Yeah. Like
Guys
I don't think
heating
I
up
don't
their
think
fuel tanks with heat guns and blowing with a compressor in them to
yeah.
make them bigger. You know, there's no rules. man.
Where are the tests? Where are the tests? Where
Yeah.
are the results
I-
from
I
the
think-
test?
I think it's
Roar.
just that America is set up differently. People don't
Yeah, it
really,
is.
They're not used
They don't
to
race
that.
like the
People
rest of the
don't really
world
want
either.
that. Yeah.
They don't rest like it's I'll never forget. It's like people who go to a nationals race and like tech, like what's this? Like I have to there's actually rules out there, but there's no federation enforcing. I mean, years ago there was a little bit different, but no, it's just like a free for all.
But
I like to say America's the wild, wild west of RC. It's simple as that.
no, but it's not
Anything
RC
goes.
only, because if you listen to what JQ said about motocross, just then Michael S. jumping on an old guy or whatever, or if you ever watch NASCAR or listen to any of the old stories, there's literally been times where people were like breaking tires and shit in NASCAR, and the race organizer just said, "Hey, like you guys just can't run because your tires are too good." Like that's just America. It's like there are no rules, and it comes down to RC as well.
Well, Max, that's
there
a
are no
broad
rules.
brush opinion.
There are no rules until there are.
Yeah, exactly.
All right,
just like
so we
that.
have one
And
more
the thing is,
question, and
I'm
then
not hating on America. It's different, and I'm fine with it. But when you ask what's wrong, I tell you what's wrong. You know, when you have issues like this, I tell you why the issue happens. Don't be mad at me. Be mad at someone else. I'm just the messenger here. I'm not hating on America. I'm just telling you why it's different and why some things that you don't like happen. There are shitty things in Europe as well. If you ask me about them, I'll tell you. Now we're talking about America. That's why it seems so negative. So don't hate on me.
oh, arrogant one, you just went. Your star is just no. It's all good, man. It just comes down to a club level and all that type of stuff too.
Yeah.
So last question for we guys before we get out of here. It's from my buddy Eddie Fikes. Check him out, guys. Uncle Eddie's all-purpose seasoning. I have a bottle. I love it. It's really good. He asks, because I know he's thinking like the rest of the world. And I'm going to ask you one. He asks, who is Mayako hiring?
I thought you were going to say, are you vaccinated?
Keenan had the
I thought
China
that was going to be the question. Are you? You are vaccinated, aren't you, Keenan?
I have all three shots.
Did all three?
Yeah.
Did it fix your arm?
No.
Oh, okay.
Dang.
Side effect.
Did you have him on your left arm or right one?
No, I did it all on my right arm. I don't. My left arm is. Things like just things like that hurt it a lot more. You know what I mean? Like my left arm is like it's asleep all the time.
But do you have feel in it?
Yeah, I do. But like when I hit my
when do
arm,
we start our fundraiser? Hey, that should be it. We're gonna get your arm fixed. Thanks to the NNRC Cup. So with this NNRC Cup and the live Discord chats we have going during the races, we're gonna do some gambling. Oh, did I say that out loud? No, we're gonna. No, but
Fantasy RC, it's a skill-based game.
We're skill-based game of Fantasy RC, and that's gonna get you the funds for fixing your arm. So then you can.
Yeah.
Then your new name was, what was it? Salty Jog
was Lefty.
Was Lefty, yeah.
Was Lefty.
Was Lefty.
All right. Well, that's all the questions we have.
We have to think of something. We can make it happen.
Man, we was only supposed to talk for an hour, but that never happens when we get together. All right, guys. I think that's it for today. I don't know what else you guys have to say. It was a good weekend. Thank you, Max, for your help. Thank you to everybody that tuned in. I'll look at him. Go on.
Camera died.
Oh, yeah, because though. Yeah, it was. I can't believe you guys can't get the power adapters for your cameras. What's going on?
Mine is too new. Like they don't have it for this battery model.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, as you guys know,
mine died.
Oh, great. Oh, great.
Like I think this is telling us we're going too long, dude.
All right. Yeah. Well, anyway, guys, as you know, this podcast is brought to you by Lugs Racing Tires. Lugs Racing has over 55 years of combined RC experience. They've been testing treads, wheels, and rubber for performance. They have their Lugs Econ line, which was developed with racing budgets in mind. High quality but lower cost means savings can be passed on to you, the racer. They also have their premium line, their TQs, but they provide pure performance made using Lugs custom molds and proprietary rubber compound. Tires are available in medium, soft, super soft, mega soft, and now long wear. And guess what? Ryan Reese, I think he won Truggy with it and Nitro Buggy with it, with lugs tires and intermediate. Sorry, at AMS. So congratulations to him. I thought that was pretty cool. California guys coming over there and winning on the East Coast. So go to www.lugsracing.com. Use the promo code NNRC Lugs in all caps and save some money on your order. All right, guys. So you've been going for 2.5 hours. It's time to go. I'm planning a live this Thursday. Everybody, it should be me, Tebo, and RC Kevin. So join us to talk RC. I want to talk to Tebo, see how his race was at AMS. Joseph, one last sales pitch for Invisible Speed. This is the last weekend to get your
last week.
Yeah.
Next week's Monday it starts. So if you buy it by Sunday this week, then you're in. You can ask the Viking where he's going, and also McBride. You can ask them both. Where are you going?
Yeah, and guess what?
Are they
The link
going
for
the
that.
same place?
Maybe.
Has
Who knows?
McBride tested the Mayako yet?
Who knows?
Oh, see, look, he's turned off his camera now. He can, we can't see his eyes.
Now he can.
Yeah.
Now he can sort of twist his face into all kind of directions and try to sound convincing.
All I know is Invisible Speed is going to be massive.
I believe so.
That's all I know.
I believe so too.
On-road update coming in the spring.
Yeah, Hagberg's actually off on his way to Cleveland this week. We got races to watch this week. Florida Carpet Championships. Mikhail Orlowski, Jorn Newman, Cav, all them guys are going on to the race on the carpet.
Schumacher
No control
and
tire
Concept.
this year. So no
Schumacher
control
and
tire.
Concept will announce their cooperation, right? That's why these guys are going here.
Who?
Schumacher and J Concept.
Oh yeah. I forgot about that. They're
they're starting sort of they're starting a thing. Might be I don't know how that works because Schumacher is a huge tire manufacturer in Europe.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a bit weird combination, really. Yeah, but I mean, if it works, it works. Why not?
Yeah, I agree. Well, guys, you know what? We can't do this without you guys. So thank you to everybody that tunes in and listens to us ramble on. We did ramble quite a bit this week. Don't hold it against Max or JQ. They love America. So do I. And
I want to come there as soon as I can. And I love all the people in America. I don't hate the people. I just hate the system which they live in.
The people
love
I don't
even hate that.
Oh, arrogant.
I just criticize
arrogant
it.
one. Oh, arrogant one.
I hate stuff that exists everywhere in the world.
We love everyone in the end, though. All the people, especially everyone who watches.
Joey Showers. Except Joey Showers. Don't love him.
Come on.
You love the Showers family. Love the Showers family. Shout out to them.
And Bornhorst also. I have something actually against people who share my name.
Yeah, must be. Well, don't worry.
That's weird.
What about Joey the Dirt? Are you friends with him these days?
I don't have any ill feelings towards him. He just doesn't like me.
What? And who can imagine why?
I don't know.
Why does he not like you?
There's a weird thing with people not liking JQ. I don't know where that comes from.
Well, I can tell you.
You know.
Oh God, here we go.
I just expect more out of people, you know. And when they disappoint me, I tell them that they disappoint.
No,
me.
you just say it's shit and then tell somebody to fix it, but give no way to that shit. Make it better. Well, how would you like it better?
No, I do actually, and I go way beyond what most people do to try and fix something. But some people just, can't take a hint.
But hey, love RC, guys. Enjoy RC.
Yeah. This weekend 2022 is going to be good.
Yeah. All right.
This weekend was fun. It's like, let's get excited for next year, guys. It's going to be great.
It's going to be good.
I'm excited. I'm excited. Pumped up. So,
me too.
Yeah.
We have to get all the rivalries going then for next year. We're going to plan it all out.
Oh,
yeah.
Good Lord.
We need rivalries to watch at the races. Okay.
I can feel the gray hairs popping up on me right now. Like I can just feel.
We're gonna pump it up once silly season hits and we know what the hell's going on. We're gonna find some good rivalries.
Once it hits, we just had the biggest move in RC since Tessman left HB last week.
Okay, did you forget that because you've been so involved in it, Joseph?
Okay. We don't know the facts of it.
Yeah, exactly. So once we know everything and we know where everyone's going, then what we need to do is we need to identify all the points of potential friction and all the points of good rivalries. And then we need to promote them. If they don't exist, we will create them on this podcast.
Exactly.
We will say that Seth and Dalen, you know what? He left Techno and said that, you know, that guy whose voice doesn't match his body? I'm going to kick that guy's ass.
You're still on it. You're still on it.
You know, like we are going to find some rivalries, and then we're going to be like Tyler Jones versus Seth, you know, and then it's going to happen at the race and they're going to be battling and it's going to be way more exciting.
You know what? I just don't understand why people think you're an asshole, JQ. I just don't get it. Just don't get it at all. Anyway, thank you everybody for tuning in.
I'm going to go and watch a YouTube video of Tyler Jones right now just to make sure that I'm talking about the right person.
You know what? I'm muting you. Goodbye.
I'm kind of intrigued what he sounds like because I never noticed this. I always felt he sounded perfectly fine. So
yeah, JQ that's his autistic
I don't know.
Weakness, you know, find fault and everything he can. Besides,
would it be funny if he's talking about the completely different dude?
Probably with him. Anyway, guys, thank you to all the NNRC squad around the world for all your help and all your support. We greatly appreciate it. Join the Discord if you can. There will be a link in this podcast for that. And be active in the Discord. We want you to be active. Yeah, we want you to be active on the Discord. Not just come in there, like talk. Say hello, what's up, all that type of stuff. And it's going to be good.
Yeah, people will be nice. People are nice. Just have a nice chat. Ask how your day is going. Show your RC cars. That people always love that. Show you what type of cars you're driving, especially if you have old cars. People love that a lot, like nostalgic cars.
And if you like to geek out in science mode, go in that Ask Arrogant Max part. Yeah, that's for that.
Anything you want to ask about RC cars, anything you want to ask about RC in general, you can go into the Ask Arrogant Max. I post there a lot.
Especially if you want secondhand information, you go there. And when you want firsthand, then you go Invisible Speed. That's where you get that.
All right. Well, Joseph, thank you for your time. Max, thank you for everything this weekend. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you everybody that tuned in. Shout out to all the patrons of the podcast. We can't do it without you guys. And an RC squad, shout out to you guys. And I'm gonna mute JQ because I think he's gonna do something rude before I leave her. So thank you.
Just unmute himself.
I might should just remove him. So we appreciate it, man. We had fun this weekend. We look forward to doing this more, maybe when we actually get to races as well next year, if we get to races. So your support with that is greatly appreciated and welcome. And you know what? Don't forget, we have sponsors of the podcast, and showing them some love shows the podcast some love. So shout out and thank you to Mayako, Beach RC, High Tech RCD, TNR Fuels, Techno RC, Lugs Racing Tires, Sun City RC Raceway, Racecraft USA, Papa Willie's Traction Tonic, Dominating RC, JQ Scale Motorsports, Invisible Speed, House of RC, RCGP. Wow. Yeah. Thank you all. It's been a great 3 years. And stay tuned for NNRC 2.0. Joseph, do you have anything to say before we go? Max, do you have anything to say before we go?
Piss off.
Enjoy life and enjoy RC. Have a nice Monday, guys.
Yeah,
Tuesday,
have a great Monday
night. I don't know when
JQ obviously is not having a good Monday, you know.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I enjoy life, so you should too.
Hey, if you ain't grinding, you're sliding. Nitro's the glory, but E-Buggy pays the bills. Everybody send a hate mail to JQ and sue him. And remember, his comments do not reflect the comments and thoughts of the NNRC.
The best way to hate on me is get the full course, invisiblespeed.net, sign up to the Discord, and hate on me there. That would be awesome.
See, like I told you,
even Joe Bornhorst endorses it. He's there. He's hating on me daily.
Oh my gosh. You know what? It's time to end this podcast. It's just time to end this podcast.
This guy just keeps on going.
Yeah, Lefty, Rupert Pumpernickels, and Arrogant Max out, everybody. Enjoy your day, and thank you for the support.
Thank you for listening to the No Name RC podcast. We greatly appreciate all the support and love from you, the listeners. Without all of you, none of this is possible. Special thanks to our patrons on Patreon. If you wish to support the podcast further, you can at patreon.com/NNRC podcast. As a patron, you will receive early releases, special content, and patron-only giveaways. Also, please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and our website, www.nnrcpodcast.com. Remember, Nitro is the glory, but e-buggy pays the bills. If you aren't having fun, it doesn't make sense. And if you ain't grinding, you're sliding. Lefty out. Nitro is the glory. Nitro is the glory. Nitro is the glory.
That wasn't so bad.